All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to the March 14th meeting of the Code Enforcement Board. The meeting will now come to order. May we have a roll call, Madam Secretary?
Sorry.
We'll get there.
Ms. Roby.
Here.
Ms. McLean.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Harrington.
Here.
Ms. House.
Here.
Ms. Hines. And Ms. Cunning.
Here. All right, motion to excuse Ms. Hines.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Roby made the motion. Is there a second? Second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes? I know that Mrs. House has small correction to make. Would you say what page that's on?
On page 15, my quote, right in the middle of the page, Ms. House asked if it was necessary to have a permit for a fence when you are replacing one that is already there.
Okay. All right. The chair will accept any other corrections? Chair will accept a motion to approve the minutes with corrections.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Harrington. Second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Does anyone need to disclose any ex parte communication?
No.
Okay. All right. Do we have any announcements, Madam Secretary?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Okay.
Case number 3, CEB 12-18-166 at 900 South Peninsula Drive, number 202, is in compliance 2/26/2019. Case number 4, CEB 12-18-163 at 900 South Peninsula Drive, number 300, is in compliance 2/26/2019. Case number 5, CEB 02-1927 at 509 Mobile Avenue is in compliance 2/27/2019. Case number 8, CEB 09-18-106 at 306 5th Avenue is in compliance 3/4/2019. Case number 9, CEB 09-18-104 at 1224 Thompson Place is in compliance 3/13/19. Case number 11, CEB 02-1921 at 300 Emory Drive is in compliance 2/26/2019. Case number 19, CEB 03-1936 at 1656 Stocking Street is in compliance 3/1/2019. Case number 21, CEB 03-19-33 at 1131 Martha Drive is in compliance 1/25/2019. Case number 29, CEB 03-1950 at 228 Bay Street is in compliance 2/27/2019. Case number 31, CEB 03-1967 is at 1117 South Ridgewood Avenue is in compliance 3/4/2019. Case number 32, CEB 03-19-38 at 242 North Oleander Avenue is in compliance 3/7/19. Case number 36, CEB 03-19-41 at 2711 North Halifax Avenue, number 484, is being withdrawn.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And wait.
Okay, sorry.
Case number 44, CEB 03-19-55 at 215 Congress Avenue is in compliance 2/28/2019. Case number 47, CEB 03-19-56 at 115 Congress Avenue is in compliance 3/9/19. That's the end.
Okay, good. I'd like to see that. All right, would our code officers please come forward and be sworn in?
solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Okay. Here's our procedure, everyone. We'll be calling cases by number, and for the most part in order as they are listed on the agenda. If there are attorneys that must be in court, we will hear those cases first. If there are police officers who must get back to assignments, we will hear those cases first as well. When your case is called, please come forward and be sworn in. State your name and address for the record. If you are not the owner of the property, please state your relationship to the owner. Our proceedings are recorded, so please speak into the mic. The board will hear from the code officers first, and then you'll be given the opportunity to respond. When you respond, please direct all of your comments to the board. Witnesses may also testify in certain cases following the same procedures. Are there any attorneys present that need to be in court? Okay. What is your case number, sir?
33, ma'am.
33. Okay. All right. If we don't get through all these cases by 11 o'clock, we'll take a break. And then whoever is left sitting in the room, if you're here, we will hear your cases first and then go to the other cases where no one's present. All right. Case number 33. Hold on, let us get to where we're supposed to be here.
Page 10.
Okay. Okay, that is page 10, case number 33 at 511 North Oleander. Okay. Case number CEB 0319-42, and this is a new case here for compliance or non-compliance. All right. Sir, what is your name, sir?
Attorney Jonathan Rothstein. I am the owner of the property at 511 North Oleander Ave.
Okay. Okay. Everybody on the right page now? Okay, good. Good morning. We'll hear from Mr. Jackson first.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Anthony Jackson, attorney for the City of Daytona Beach. This is before you for determination of compliance or non-compliance. The inspector is Mark Jones. Mr. Jones reports that this property initially had a failed rental inspection back in September, and it since has not remedied that. So it's now being brought before the board. It's currently in non-compliance. In fact, there's been 3 failed inspections, the last being on February 20th. So it's a non-compliance. We're asking for next cutoff for the property to be brought into compliance. I turn to Mr. Jones if you have any other factual questions.
Okay.
We're here for a rental license, not compliance.
Which is,
We're here for failure to obtain a rental license.
Yes.
that's,
Well, just a second, I'll give you a chance. Mr. Jones, is there anything you'd like to add?
Mark Jones.
Good morning, sorry.
Good morning. Neighborhood Services. My credentials are on file. No, we originally inspected it in September.
Okay.
We were then re-inspected it in December, and then again we inspected on February 20th. So slowly items were getting corrected, but we still were not 100% as my last inspection.
Okay, well, all right.
Now we're just down to some wood rot, some water damage, and some flaking paint on the ceiling. Just some minor items.
Okay. All right. Good morning, Mr. Rothstein. What would you like to tell us?
first of all, the notice of violations for failure to obtain a rental license. I paid that long ago. That's number one.
Well, you're aware that it's not the same as a business tax receipt.
That's correct. And I
Okay.
paid for my rental license last year.
So is this a new inspection?
Pardon?
Is this a new inspection?
Yes, it came up in September for its rental inspection. That is part of to have an active rental license, you have to, of course, pay for it, have the application approved, and then pass a rental inspection.
Okay. when did you pay the last time that you paid?
Well, actually, I paid one, September is when it was paid for, and I'll be glad to submit proof of the payment of that.
Okay, you're under oath. I'm just,
And the second time is because they say the property failed, in his opinion. They also sent me a bill for another $100 for a reinspection, which has already been paid.
I'm wondering, Mr. Jackson, because the bill is paid, that it doesn't mean it's passed inspection.
That's correct. That's part of the process, is that you'll pay for the inspection, you'll pay, but the ultimate compliance is having the inspection and having that inspection approved so that the affidavit of compliance is placed into the file.
But the notice, Judge, that is sent to us, to me, states specifically alleged violation is failure to obtain the rental license. I've obtained it. If they want to spell out exactly, giving me proper due process notice, they have to specifically put in the notice of violation exactly what it is. Or in the alternative, they can attach a sheet checking off whatever they've checked off that is not approved. Otherwise, I don't have due process of what I'm arguing about. But what this notice of violation is quite clear: failure to obtain the rental license. It's easy to prove that both have been paid.
The fact that they're paid, it doesn't have it obtained. It's obtained when it's granted by the city and provided, and that has not been done.
Okay.
Does the inspection form illustrate what needs to be done?
Yes, at each inspection, when we are complete with it, we have whoever is there, either the tenant or the owner or the owner's rep, sign off on it, and they are given a copy of the inspection with what is
Do you
remaining.
have signed copies?
Do I have signed copies?
Does the city have signed
Yes,
copies?
the city has signed copies.
Well, then I don't understand the argument that you don't know what I've talked to Mr.
Well, sir, it's a legal argument that Mr. Sino can address. It must be attached to the notice of violation. When you claim that somebody has done something wrong contractually, there must be an exhibit attached
Okay.
to it. All it says is, a plain reading, sir, I'm sorry, a plain reading of this is that I failed to obtain the rental license.
I understand. Let's forget the legal requirements. Do you know that you don't meet the inspection and there are certain items? Why don't you get them fixed?
I have, sir. I've done what I'm supposed to do. I keep my properties in top notch. I've never had a problem in an inspection before in all my 30 years.
So then these statements are not true?
I'm not saying one way or the other whether they're true or not true.
And it just looks like we're going around in circles here. There's just minor things that need to be done. Did you get a copy of the report that he said did with the checklist? Did you get a copy of that?
I didn't. I got the first two. I didn't get the third one. I think somebody came and...
He's entitled to a copy of that paper.
Yes, and what we do is we leave a copy of that with whoever grants us access to the property.
Okay.
We had an appointment scheduled for the 20th, I believe it was the 20th or the 20th of February, and no one representing his firm showed up, but the tenant granted us access, and the copy was left with the tenant.
You haven't gotten that.
Right, I
Can we
haven't.
get him a copy of that? I mean,
Sure, I can easily email him a
that'll
copy.
give him any problems of not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
What they're saying to you is they want to extend it for another month. They're minor things. Those things are not going to take very long to take care of.
No, they're not.
So we can get this resolved, no problem. Let's get him a copy of the problem. Let's give him his month. See what happens. I mean, it's not finding you today. It's not going to happen today.
All right. It's just, what we'll do is motion to find you in non-compliance and order you to come into compliance by the next cutoff date, which means you'll have to speak with Mr. Jones, call him, tell him you're done, you're ready for the inspection, and he'll set it up and come back, and that
And you'll be there when it
probably
comes
won't
back.
even be here next month. So is that
Fair
okay?
enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. The chair will entertain a
Don't leave without a copy of that piece of paper.
I'm going to go meet with them right now, Mr.
Okay.
Sino.
The chair will entertain a motion to find respondent non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date 4/3/19 or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So
So
moved.
Motion, Ms. House, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. McLean, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Okay. All right, good. And let's go back to our lien review. That would be on page 2. We only have one lien review, and that is CEB 0606157 at 213 South Keach Street, Julia Carter Estate. Someone here to represent the estate is Julia Carter? Yes, someone's here. Julia's not here, I guess. Good morning.
Good morning.
You state your name?
My name's Shanae Carter. My address is 1432 Continental Drive, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll hear from Mr. Jackson, and then we'll give you a chance to talk.
Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for a lien review. The applicant applied for this based upon expressing some hardships. I slightly recall, you may recall as well, there were some situations regarding her ability to get the what she needed for code compliance because she didn't have legal ownership, and ultimately the property was brought into compliance. It's been secured since the time that while they were, because of the deceased, and while they were taking care of everything they needed to take care of to satisfy city standards. And the city's recommendation is that the lien be reduced to $1,000.
Payable within 30 days?
Paid within the next 30 days.
Do we have a current picture or just the picture with the boarded up?
Okay, those are the current pictures.
So it has boarded up windows?
At this time it does, being maintained to the city standards in terms of it being secured.
Okay, these are standards for being secure.
For being secured, that's correct. Yeah.
So this has been in non-compliance for 10 years?
Yeah, 2006. That's what, right?
2007.
That's,
Yeah.
So my understanding, you inherited this property or received the ownership of the property fairly recently,
2017.
2017, and you brought it up to the standards that it is now. You're going to continue to upgrade it so it
Yes,
can be
that's
used?
what we're trying to do now, but then we found out about all this stuff.
Yeah, then you're not responsible for the original condition.
No, I'm 26.
I'm kind of confused. So the lien is at the maximum amount. This is considered compliance with the boarded up windows?
I'll have to have the staff speak to that.
Okay.
The general position of staff is that, of course, we've always...
I mean, I get secure.
Right. We always order it to be secure. We never looked at ultimately that a secured building with boarded up is considered ultimate compliance. In this situation, I believe it's occupied or intended to be occupied. At the moment, it's vacant. I don't know much more factual details than that. I'd have to look to the inspector, so I would tender the inspector for any other details about the structure. But or you can, if you'd like to make that inquiry of the respondent on what they intend on doing. My understanding is that their intent is to sell, and I don't think they intend on occupying.
Let me ask you a question. If they sold it, would they then not be in compliance? If the building gets sold, the person that bought it
we'll have to bring it into compliance.
It just seems to me that this lien review is a little ahead of the
Yeah, I
thing,
think so too.
that it should have come into complete compliance and then have the lien review.
Generally, when we hear
Those are the fees
lien
for the
reviews,
days that you spend.
the houses are in complete compliance.
And I don't disagree.
Okay, and can you tell me what the original complaint was? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Jerome
Poor
McCoy.
Jerome. He can't get that mic up to his back.
Jerome McCoy, Code Inspector for the city. My credentials on file. Yes, the original complaint back in 2006 was roof and paint.
Roof and paint?
Yes.
Okay.
When it came to my case in 2017, those issues were addressed. The property is boarded up and remains boarded because of the neighborhood. It's more of a security
So
issue.
secure.
Yeah, the police had us do it when we did the request to have it like the no trespassing. They told us to board it because we don't live
Okay,
there.
so basically it is in
It's posted-
compliance.
It's posted with no trespass.
You just boarded it up for
security
for
issues, yes.
to keep people out. Okay.
Okay.
That's a
we can't
Okay,
find
different.
that clears it up for me.
Yeah.
You know, what it says here that the original one was failure to maintain building appearance, failure to maintain roof and sound, but the roof is fixed, correct?
It was taken down. It was like a carport thing that was sunk in.
What?
It was like a thing that's missing now. It's gone. It was
Okay.
a carport roof, like a garage.
Oh, okay, and that was, okay. And not have defects that admit dampness, so.
So what I read, this was your dad's property?
It was my grandmother's,
Your
actually.
and then it went to your dad, and your
Yeah.
dad got sick and he passed away.
He had a stroke, but
But he lives in a nursing home
correct.
right now.
But he's, yeah.
Yeah, he can't live there. He's in a nursing
Mr.
home.
Jackson, a question. If someone chooses to board up their home like this, do they need a permit from the city to do that?
To just board it up.
Like-
no.
like that?
I mean, people board up their homes all the time for
For a hurricane,
emergencies,
yeah.
those types of things. For it to stay continuously boarded up, then that becomes of issue. So, you know, long-term vacancies that are continuously boarded tend to become an issue that we sometimes find it necessary to cite pursuant to the International Property Maintenance Code.
Okay.
So why did it take 4,413 days on this penalty? That's what the original,
The one from which year?
well, it's from
The original
the first
one
lien from 2007.
2006 or 7?
But-
7.
I think my grandmother passed in 2000. My dad has various health issues up till his stroke. He just did it. He's a non-working veteran, different things of that nature. We honestly didn't have much contact with him, to be completely honest, so I didn't know much about the condition of the home, interior-wise. I didn't go there very often until
right. You don't
we
have-
had to
yeah.
in 2017.
So
And
you-
that's
right.
So
pretty
he
much
had
all.
it. He came forward and he got the reduction to the $10,000.
I wasn't
his-
aware.
Nobody
No.
did.
Oh, no, I don't think,
No.
I don't think he's ever,
Oh.
I think
No,
that's
we
been part
have
of the
a-
problem.
I'm sorry, we had a max.
What,
max-
that's a
Okay.
max.
Okay.
I think the problem is that I don't know if he's ever been here, but I did see like different cases where, so that's why it's still here, I'm
So,
assuming.
how soon do you plan on seeing that this house is occupied?
It's already been, I mean, that's how we found out about the liens. We did the case in 2017 to bring everything up to code, and because it was inherited, they didn't do a lien search, so we didn't even know there were any liens until we were trying to do like mortgages and different things for renovations.
So you inherited a house and $10,000 debt at the same time?
More than that, actually, there's another lien that is against the home that I have to find out about.
On
What
top
are your
of that,
intentions with this house?
To not have it look like this. We're working with a company that's going to do like the renovations and mortgage on it. We looked into selling it, but the issue is the debt. There's nothing that would come from that. So we're trying to figure out what we can do. It's new for both of us.
I'm
So
inclined to make a motion to accept the city's recommendation to reduce the fine to $1,000.
I would second that.
You are inclined to do that? Well, then.
Then make
all
a
right.
motion.
That's my motion.
Okay.
Inclination.
So a little more discussion would make me feel better. I am concerned about cases being brought forward for a lien review when the house has issues, like boarding up. I mean, we really don't allow, I mean, certainly after a hurricane, or during a hurricane, we allow boarding up, and we give people time to get the boards down. But in general, we don't allow, and I boarded up windows.
We were told to board.
I know. So I just want some clarification on
And
that.
I guess in this situation, if we have made various efforts in the city over the more recent years to trying to aid in reducing the vagrancy and squatting.
Yeah, I get the security
and
part.
Trespass issues.
Right.
We did have to get people like
But-
vacated from it, so that was
Okay,
a
go
concern
ahead.
for that.
Yeah. And I understand that concern, and we, I share that concern. We don't, under normal circumstances, allow for a lien review, but we have, in the past, considered that under circumstances we thought it would be in the best interest of the city or be an improvement that would be in the best interest of the community. And in this situation, I think that's kind of the position where the staff is in, that at least we have an owner that's available that's trying to do improvement
Right.
and change the current
Yeah,
situation.
I get that. Now, the other thing is that the lien amount is at its maximum, and it wasn't going to increase. Correct?
Other than, that's correct.
Yeah, other than
Okay. Other than,
interest.
I don't think we even maxed.
yeah, that's maxed.
Maximum, yeah.
It's maxed out.
That's correct.
So that there's no incentive for, as far as I'm concerned, for me to approve the lien reduction until the house is in compliance and you fix up whatever needs to be fixed up.
Except that if someone's relying on, and again, I'm not trying to defend her, just.
Right, and I'm not trying to not
harm her,
defend
right,
her.
I
Yeah,
understand.
right.
Except for the encumbrance will affect the person's ability to get a loan or do any other.
Exactly.
sort of
We have
improvement efforts.
we're trying
Okay.
to secure like the title,
Okay,
insurance,
so
all those
that's
things,
why,
and
okay.
we can't.
All right, I just want to
So,
get, I
if you-
just want to be sure of my
If you
mind.
go tear the boards off this afternoon, are you now in compliance? That's all we're talking about, the boards?
Yeah, I guess that's right.
The home
So
was in
I-
compliance before the boards were put up.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
just
I
put
mean,
up
so
so
the
that people
board
could break.
Right, and I get that.
is very nitpicky as far as I'm concerned. You can take the boards off this afternoon and you'd be in compliance.
Back up again.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay.
Now, are you going to move into it, or
No,
you're just going to sell it?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the problem with like getting the title insurance and different things.
Okay.
Because
Sure.
again, steps we didn't
Okay.
know we need to take.
All right, so we have a motion from Mr. Harrington, and was the second from Ms. McLean?
Yes, I would second
Okay.
that.
All right, to reduce the amount of the loan to $1,000, so we can vote now. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay. So you have to pay this within 30 days of the, just one additional thing that I didn't say. You have to pay this amount within 30 days or the fine will go back. Okay, so just get in touch with our board
Well,
secretary.
good luck. Good luck with the house.
Okay. All right. Now, let's go to our continued cases. Case number 1, CEB 0918-109, Dennis L. and Lucinda Trovinger. Respondent present at 1212 Sunset. Hello. Come on up.
State your name and address, please.
Dennis Trovinger, 1212 Sunset Circle.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's your son, and do you want to talk today?
No, he just wants to be heard.
Okay, that's fine.
He has
I know. That's fine. So we're here for a progress report and determination of a compliance date. So, Mr. Jackson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the inspectors come Cleage on this, and Mr. Cleage reports that as far as the issue we were having, we were anticipating going before the Board of Adjustment, or at least they were looking into that and getting with the plan to get on the agenda and make some decisions. They ultimately did not go before the Board of Adjustment. The inspector reports that they were supposed to be having a meeting with the city yesterday. I'm not sure if that happened. We don't have that answer. So as a progress report, we'd ask if they can just update the board on their progress, and then we can discuss what their plans are.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we need to know that. Okay. Want to add anything, Mr. Cleage? Okay. Go ahead.
Excuse me. Had a meeting yesterday with, finally, with Miss Ward and Miss Taylor, and a gentleman whose name escapes me at the moment.
Where was the meeting?
Down the hallway here.
Okay.
In plannings.
In planning?
Probably over planning.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they accepted the paperwork we had, but they asked for some more stuff.
Oh.
Okay. They asked for an updated survey showing the proposed changes we're going to make, and they asked my contractor for his proposed plan from him too, as the changes he's going to make. Okay. So we have to provide that and then go from there.
How long do you think it'll take you to get those things?
Hopefully not very long, but
Okay.
well, we'd like to get on I think the cutoff date for the next adjustment hearing.
Board of Adjustments.
27th, we hope to have by then.
Of March.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So at this point, I mean, we know what this case is about. We've seen it. There's still more and more things that need to. It's so he can talk if he wants to. Let him.
You okay with the changes we want to make? No? Oh, you'd like to keep it the way it is? Yeah. Maybe they'll let us do it that way.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. So we know what this case is about. We know what you need to do. Do you think that we should just order another progress report or set a compliance date? Because if these, updated survey, that it's already the 14th of March.
I asked if we should start making the changes that they had suggested to us, proposed to us, and they said don't do anything until after you have a meeting.
To go to the Board of Adjustments,
yes.
right.
Now, if I remember, you don't have any complaint from the neighbors? This is strictly between the city and you?
They've signed off that it's okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so I don't...
So I just think we'll have another progress report in, and I don't think a month is enough time, do you? Because I'm not sure that they're going to get everything done by then. What do you think,
I
Mr.
would
Jones?
give them the most time you possibly can.
I agree.
These people have to come in all the time.
Right,
on
absolutely.
If we make it to this cutoff date, we make that the next board meeting is after
Right.
you guys. So.
Move it to
Yeah,
May.
it's the
Move it
third.
to May.
Yeah, I think we'll move it to May, just so you don't have to keep coming back in. And if things are settled, then, that's what I would recommend.
There's no objection from the city on that.
Okay, all right. Okay. Let's see. The chair will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow respondent until May 1st to come into compliance and be returned to a subsequent meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day until of
Ma'am.
compliances. Do we want to do that, or we just want to make that a progress
Well, we don't,
Progress
ma'am,
report.
yes, well, I was about to say, at the moment, you don't have a compliance date. So,
Right.
So it's not a.
Okay, so the board orders a further progress report at the meeting, at the 5/9/19
And at that time,
board
determine
meeting.
compliance.
And then we will determine a compliance date. Okay?
Right.
All right, so is there such a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Harrington made the motion, Mr. Jones the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Okay. So we'll see you in May, and hopefully things will be settled by then.
I wish it was settled.
I know.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Case number 2, CEB 12-18-159, Audrey Houston. She was here, or someone was here last time. Is there anyone here
Yeah.
to represent the case now?
They're here.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Hi,
State your name and address.
my name is Debbie Filer. My address is 67 Universal Trail, Palm Coast, Florida.
Ms. Houston, state your name and address.
Audrey Houston, 727 School Street, Daytona Beach, Florida, 32114.
Okay, and are you also testifying?
I'm Kenyatta Jones. My mom asked me to come up here. My address is 774 Tumblebrook Drive in Port Orange, Florida.
Raise your hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Jackson, we're here for a progress report, and the compliance date is set for April 3rd.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the inspector is Jerome McCoy. Mr. McCoy reports that, first I'll remind the board this is property that's now air property, and it has several areas and a little bit of maybe some aspect of dispute and what they were doing, at least at the last meeting. What has happened since is that they did apply for permits, however, it wasn't by a contractor, so they still have stuff they have to do, and being in the right position even for the permitting process. So I don't know what else is going on. Of course, we could hear from them in terms of their progress. Right now, they're scheduled for a compliance for next
April.
month.
Yeah. So
really nothing's completed that the inspector knows of, other than their application for a permit that will probably not be approved at this point, since it needed to be pulled by a contractor.
Okay. Mr. McCoy, would you like to add anything right now?
The only thing to add is, good morning again.
Good morning.
Again.
To add is that some screens have been bought and placed on the windows. If you can see from some of the pictures, the colors changed, so the property has been painted. But that's, as far as the permit that was pulled, it was applied for on the 11th. But I spoke to the building department, and it's going to be denied due to the fact that a licensed roofing company has to pull that permit for that roof.
Okay.
That's all I have.
May I ask how many of these units? There's 4, right?
Right.
How many are occupied?
2.
Okay.
And do you have a roofing contractor lined up?
Yes.
Is he licensed?
Yes.
Okay. How about the interior? All the holes we're seeing in the ceiling and that.
The holes That's the apartment from the original tenant complaint. That tenant had
Left.
to be evicted. They got the tenant out. However, I haven't
But all of
contacted-
that has to be in compliance, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And what do they need permits for?
Permits for the roof.
That's all they need permits for?
Permits for the roof and the interior. Drywall.
Yeah.
Of course, was damaged from the water damage.
Uh-huh.
The electrical.
Electrical. of
Uh-huh.
course, and fire.
So they need a roofing contractor, an electrical or a general contractor, somebody that can pull all of these permits because that all is it's all needs to be done by a contractor. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What would you like to say, Ms. Houston?
Okay, first I thought it was just half of it. You know.
Half of what?
The apartment that needed to be done. I thought it was, you know, the one on the end.
Department.
I'm not.
The
I'm
department
not.
that was the original complaint came
Right.
from the
Correct.
the tenant,
Correct.
and that generated the case.
Right.
And all the damage that you see on the interior is from that particular apartment.
So that's what the only apartment we're looking at.
That's the only apartment that I was able to get inside that the
I
complaint came from.
Okay.
Everything else is on the exterior.
But in order to get a rental license, the whole place will need to be inspected. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
But
I'm not going to rent it.
Excuse me?
I'm not renting it.
Oh, you're not renting it. Not renting what?
The apartments.
Any of them?
No.
Do you have any plans in the future to rent them out?
No, ma'am.
No, but it says there are 4 units and 2 of them. Didn't you say 2 were occupied?
Yes, mine and my nephew's.
So
his is on the other side.
He doesn't pay rent?
Hmm?
He doesn't pay rent?
No.
Technically, she has no
It's-
renters.
well,
it's 2 buildings on the parcel,
okay.
and the other building wasn't where the issues of the complaint came from.
Okay.
If that clears it up.
Okay. So it's like a two and two or something. And,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. And it's 2 separate buildings, and this is just on one of the buildings and about one of the apartments in that building.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, this is just a progress report. Now you understand what you need to do. I mean, Mr. McCoy will tell you what you need to do to come into compliance. Do either one of you ladies want to say anything?
How long do we have?
Well, the compliance date is set for April 3rd, which is not too long from now, and you don't have your permits yet. Even though you applied yourself, you have to have, if I'm understanding Mr. McCoy correctly, you have to have a contractor, a roofing contractor or a general contractor of some sort.
Okay.
Okay. So what would you like to say?
I would just like to ask.
Here, speak into the mic, please.
Hi, I'm sorry. I would just
That's
like to
okay.
ask a question. Is there any time that is this the final date on this? My mom is trying to do this on her own. And, I mean, her understanding sometime, we was under the understanding of one thing, and now we're told that the permits have to be pulled for other things. So, I mean, realistically, I don't think April 3rd is going to
Okay.
be enough
Okay.
time for us.
Yeah.
And that's the discussion we were just having as well,
Okay.
Madam Chair. We
Okay.
would agree. That April 3rd would not probably.
Right, it probably isn't going to.
Right.
Have you all contacted the contractor to go and pull the permit yet?
No, they haven't been turned down yet from, right? Right.
Okay.
They haven't been turned down yet, is that correct? Okay, but probably, okay.
But we asked if she had a contractor.
All right, so why don't we set a progress date? I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking that we'll get a progress date and then set a new compliance date. Is that what the city? What would the city recommend?
She'd like to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, come up and say something while they're.
Okay, I just want to say that, Ms. Houston is the owner or part of the apartments, but there are several other owners. My mother's name is on there, and we discussed this the last time, and you told us that, we had to come today for compliance, and then
No, come today for
today
progress.
for progress, I'm
Right.
sorry. So she's saying that she's doing it on her own. If she would accept the help, because we had our disagreement here, so I was told to get a mediator so that we can work together to get everything done. But it's just not solely with her. And maybe I'm not understanding, but since there are 4 apartments on the one parcel, as according to what you say, so when you fix that one roof, is that just all that needs to be repaired, or is there any other
Now,
repairs?
I can't answer that for you. That is a question for Mr. McCoy to answer and for you to talk to him about, because I haven't been there. I don't, that's not our job. So,
Madam Chair, I can say that according to Mr. McCoy, for what they've been cited for, it would be the roof on the unit that was,
Okay.
the roof for that building where the complaint came from. The likelihood is on the permitting that they're not going to be able to just permit and do the small portion of the roof, but it'd be the whole roof, but it'd be on the building where the complaint arose. That's the only thing they were cited for as far as roof, according to Mr. McCoy.
Okay.
Can I ask you if you could provide our secretary with a list of all of the owners, if they are legal? Do you have that?
Yeah, I think we discussed that last time.
Okay.
We want to amend to add the owners to the.
Well, that's up to you. I don't know what the legal
And I
requirement
would
is.
suggest maybe we should. I mean, I don't know why they would want to be. So, I mean, if it doesn't go right, but it's they are all the owners.
could you read the names of the owners for me?
If we take action, they have to be notified.
Wait a minute. Stop. Who?
Audrey Houston, 33.33%.
Okay.
Dorothy Murphy, 33.33%, and that's an estate.
Right.
Edward Jones, 11.11, and that's an estate.
Right.
Tamara Jones, 11.11, and Cedric Davis, 11.11.
So are these
And I
people
believe-
all deceased?
2 of them are.
Who's deceased?
My mother, Dorothy Murphy,
Okay.
and she has 3 heirs. And then the young man, Edward Jones, he's deceased, but he has an heir.
And if I remember right, it's deeded that way now, right? Through,
It is.
Probate deed. So it's been deeded just the way it's been described in terms of possession and ownership.
Right, because I went
Right,
to
the
see an
estate
attorney
up,
for
right.
probate.
All right. Second question to the board. We're going to issue a progress report. Can we at least have some specifics at what we define to be progress for that we would like some minimal thing to be done in that progress report, even though it's not a compliance thing? Is there a suggestion we could make?
I don't think we're supposed to make suggestions to them about what they should do for an adequate progress report, but
how would they know what
step
that
by
is then?
step would be.
Yeah.
I mean,
some direction.
So what is your what do you think?
What I don't want to see come up is, we hired a contractor, but he doesn't start for 6 months routine.
Okay, or that. I mean, to me, the most important thing is they can't do any work until they get contractors.
Okay, so we expect them to have their permits issued and contractors in the next progress report. Okay. At least that's specific, and everyone understands that's what has to be done for the progress report.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then that these people can apply for a permit, but whatever you can get done without the permit is fine. But you need permits for a lot of this stuff, so.
The actual violations are electrical system hazards, insect screens.
That's taken
no
care of,
smoke
right?
detectors, structural appearance standards, roof, failure to obtain rental license if
Well,
you
they're
rent
not
it.
gonna- yeah.
If they're
So
not gonna
that's
rent
not
it,
an
yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
So the smoke detectors and the structural and the roof, I think you could probably roll them all into one if you get one contractor that can do other things.
Yeah, that's not up to us to tell them how they're supposed to do it, but yeah.
But we have to see some progress.
Right, we have to see progress. And probably logical progress would be, you can't do anything until really, because you're going to stop work order if you start doing stuff without permits.
So then when you come back on April the 3rd, you want to have a contractor in place?
Not April the 3rd.
April 3rd, I'm sorry.
We're going to give you
April,
a longer.
well, it's
April
April
11th.
11th.
Dates now.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that, so,
And any paperwork you have with the city in regards to the permits, because they may not have issued them by that, but proof that you have been dealing in good faith with
All right.
the city.
okay.
And they have been keeping in contact with the
Right,
inspector.
absolutely.
They encourage you to continue
Absolutely.
to do that, and he'll make sure
Okay.
whatever questions they have, he'll answer.
Right. Yeah, we can't answer questions about what you need to do. It will be Mr. McCoy that can tell you exactly what you need to do. Okay. Okay, let's see. The chair will entertain a motion to continue providing progress reports on,
May 19th?
May 9th, I think is the next one.
okay. The next
Yeah,
one will
19th.
be on, do we want to have the progress report on May 9th, or are we going back to April 11th?
May 9th.
May 9th?
May 9th.
May 9th.
All right. And we're going to amend the compliance date that we have in here until that meeting. We'll reconsider the compliance date at that time. So what we're doing is giving you till the May 9th meeting to, and give us a progress report, and then we'll determine from that progress report when we think that you can, and you can help us with this, get into compliance.
Madam
Okay.
Chair,
Yes.
we'd ask if you could order that they have contracts in hand. I think that they just need to be, to know that they got to work together and get this thing done. And because there are some uncertainty, they just need to know that, at least for the progress report, that we do a progress report and they have contracts in hand by the May 9th meeting.
Absolutely agree.
Okay.
And then
So
now-
we're going
and that's
to
the
amend
final
that
progress.
motion to add and have contracts in hand.
And of course, if they have a circumstance that affects that, then
Right.
they can make that.
Okay. Okay. Well, let us vote on
Motion. We need a
it.
motion.
We need a motion.
I make a motion.
Motion.
Okay, Ms. Roby made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Harrington. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Okay, just so that's what it is. May 9th, you come back here with your contracts. And keep in touch with Mr. McCoy. That's what you need to do. And you've done it, so that's good, but just keep going. Thank you. All right. Case number 3, CEB 1218166 in compliance. Case number 4, CEB 1218-163 in compliance. Case number 5, CEB 021927 in compliance. We'll move on to case number 6, CEB 0119-08. Evelina Brockington. Anyone here for the case? They weren't here last time either. We're here to either to decide what fine.
Oh, wait a minute, shut her.
Oh, here
Somebody's
comes
coming up
somebody. Okay. Good morning.
Address, please.
Good morning, Evelina Brockington.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
626 South Street.
Do
do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector is John Stinson. Mr. Stinson reports that the respondent has made substantial progress. He's asking that we amend to the next cutoff so that they can get themselves finished. And I would tender Mr. Stinson.
Okay. Mr. Stinson, what's been done? Oh, good morning.
Good morning. John Stinson, Code Inspector with the city. My qualifications are on file. The majority of this case was, there was quite a bit of outside storage dumping debris. There are issues with the actual structure, but there has been significant progress. I would have to say 75% of the outside storage has been completely removed, and they have already begun to make the improvements on the structure. So they just need a little bit more time to get there.
Next cutoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, next cutoff.
Are they going to need any permits or?
Quite possibly when they get to that part with the structure.
Mm-hmm.
They will need permits.
Will need permits. Okay. Ms. Brockington, do you want to tell us anything?
No, I've been working like a dog. That's the only thing I can tell you.
Okay, good.
I ain't been able to move when I finish.
Uh-huh. Do you have any help?
Yeah, I've been having a lot of help.
Good. Okay. Well, that's good.
If you do need a permit, be sure you ask him where to go and how to get it and start that process, because it's kind of slow sometimes. Okay.
I will.
Mr. Stinson, can we get on the list? The fencing fixed?
Fencing's been removed.
Fencing's
It
been
was a
removed.
small portion of the fence.
Junk vehicles gone?
Yes, it is.
Damaged roof?
That's what we're discussing with the permits.
Okay. Lattice work?
It's been removed.
Okay. Broken windows?
They were boarded. They're no longer boarded. So the
Okay.
windows are intact.
The windows are, okay. Doors?
No, they still need to work on the doors.
Okay. You said most of the rubbish is gone.
Correct.
The infestation that treated?
Well, the dogs have been removed. Haven't been on the interior of the property.
Okay. Plumbing system?
That's the water services. I don't know about the water services at this time.
Okay, so we've got...
The water's on.
Live in my house.
And that's the plumbing system hazard for lack of service.
So we've got three fairly serious things, and those are not going to be done by the next cutoff. So what do
So what needs to be still addressed? Is what?
They still have some outside storage
Okay.
to be removed, and they still need to address portions of the structure. There's some exterior surfaces that need work, sides of the building, and the roof needs some work. Whether or not it needs to be replaced or repaired, I don't know. The contractor will have to say that.
Okay, then the plumbing.
The plumbing system hazard is just the activation of the actual service.
Okay, so that's happened,
That's
correct?
done. Oh, okay.
All right.
So is it vacant still, or no?
Yeah, she lives.
She
lives
said-
there. She lives there.
Okay, because it says vacant structure.
What?
It was
What?
at the time.
Okay.
What?
I said it was at the time when the case began. She resides there now.
Okay.
Are you in negotiation with a roofing contractor?
Ain't nothing wrong with my roof. You need to come by and see it. Just stop by there and see it. Ain't nothing wrong with my roof.
We can do that.
No,
We can
because
schedule
her
an
hand is in
inspection.
front of her mouth. I can't hear a word she's saying.
Yeah, speak
No,
into
she's
the
saying
mic.
that there's not a problem, and she's asking for us to come take a look at the roof again.
Oh, okay.
Ain't nothing wrong with my doors.
How about the painting? Is that
I'm almost through and just got a little like
Okay.
December. That's it.
Okay. Well, we can amend to the next cutoff, or we can amend to which would be the 3rd of April or the 1st of May.
Why don't we do the 1st of May, because 3rd of April's a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, it's only. Is that amenable to the city?
Yes.
Okay. All right. The chair will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow respondent until 5/1/19 to come into compliance and be returned to a subsequent meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day until compliance is achieved. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Mrs. House, a second.
Second.
Second, Ms. Roby. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign approved. So you have 2 months to get this work done, okay?
Thank you.
Before you have to come back, all right?
Thank
All right, case number 7, CEB 011905, Stephen L. and Judy Suter. They weren't here last time, or are they here this time? Anyone representing them? Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector is John Stinson. Mr. Stinson reports that the respondent is working on the compliance. They had permits issued on January 25th. They are having, or at least they complain of some problems with the neighbors that have been of issue. But Mr. Stinson, based on the progress that they're making, is asking that we amend to the next cutoff for them to come into compliance. I turn to Mr. Stinson.
So they have a permit for what they're doing, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And all that's left is to finish that structure off?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have they had the permit, you know?
Since January 25th.
That just January 25th, that took from November?
Well, that's when they applied. I don't know when they got it.
The permit,
Was
they
this
just
year?
got the permit in January.
Just got the permit.
was issued in January.
Okay.
correct.
And as far as you're concerned, they're coming into compliance, and they'll be into compliance by next time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions? Chair will entertain motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow a respondent to come into compliance by April 3rd, 2019, or be returned to a subsequent meeting for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Harrington. Second.
Second.
Second, Ms. McLean. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Case number 8 and case number 9. Case number 8, CEB 0918-106 is in compliance. Case number 9, CEB 0918-104 is in compliance. Case number 10 will be our next case, CEB 0219-28, Alan and Deborah Bukowski. They weren't here last time. Let's see, at Gulf Boulevard. Anyone here? No. Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for imposition of a fine. The inspector is Steve Alderman. Mr. Alderman reports that this property remains in non-compliance. He's asking for a $100 per day fine to a maximum of $10,000. I tend to Mr. Alderman.
Okay. Morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Steve Alderman, Neighborhood Services Inspector for the City of Daytona Beach. I expected the owners to be here. They told me they were going to be here, but they are not, so we will continue on. This is a CRM complaint that I opened up based upon parking on the easement and a storage shed on the easement of the city, and also a commercial vehicle that was in compliance. Since then, I've had contact with them. After I posted the house for pretty much every step of this way, I talked to them 12/13, and she was supposed to be here. I know that they have obtained a big contract on Beachside, but still, this is something they should have taken care of. There's been no change in this parking location or the shed since I have opened this case. And just to clarify, if you are interested, I do have a GIS map that I've obtained that shows the location of the shed and the vehicle in comparison to the city right away, if you're interested. But other than that...
Well, no, we'll take your word for it.
Good.
Well, I think we're ready to impose a fine.
I agree. Yeah. All right. And, well, is there anyone else that would like to add anything? Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today, March 14th, 2019, and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches a maximum of $10,000. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Roby, second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay, case number 11, CEB 021921 is in compliance. Case number 12 is our next case, CEB 0219-29. Mark Spritzler is trustee of the Perfect World Programming Trust. Good morning.
State your name and address.
I'm David Headley, H-E-A-D-L-E-Y, 1080 Lander Street, Orphan Beach, Florida.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we're going to hear from Code Enforcement first.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for a progress report.
Mm-hmm.
It's set for compliance, a compliance date of April 3rd. The inspector, Steve Alderman, and Mr. Alderman reports that permits have been pulled, and so they're moving forward, so we would expect that they can be in compliance by the April 3rd compliance date.
Great. Anything to add?
No, ma'am. That's
okay. Working on it?
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Well, so if
we have an engineering inspection pertaining to insurance that has nothing to do with this matter on Monday the 18th, and then the work is going to commence the day after.
That's good work.
Yeah, good. Terrific. And hopefully it'll be finished and we won't see you back here.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Case number 13, CEB 02-19-20, Walter McCarthy. Mr. McCarthy was here last time. No. Not here today. Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you from position of a fine. The inspector, Steve Alderman, Mr. Alderman reports that this case was initiated as being complaint generated. The property remains in non-compliance. No permits have been applied for. Mr. Alderman is asking for a $100 per day fine to
10K. 10.
To 10? Is it owner occupied? Okay, to $10,000, to a maximum of $10,000.
Okay. Let me ask Mr. Alderman a question. This was the case that he took down part of the fence and then put it in the backyard. Is that the case, or am I remembering a different one?
Well, technically, the storms took it down, actually.
Right, the storm. Okay. Okay. So nothing's happened?
No, well, what did happen was that pile that you saw in the back corner has now been installed as a new fence, but it's not appropriate. And it has been posted every time, and I've also posted it for a stop work order to get a permit to make sure that it's...
So no permit, no nothing. Okay. All right. Any questions from...
You've been in contact with them at all?
Yes. Well, I've actually been at his house and taken pictures of my business card in his door, but I have not talked to him since we were here at the last hearing, but I have been there twice since then.
What about the card?
Yeah.
Left.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And he can remedy the situation by simply tearing down all the fence. He doesn't have to have a fence.
But he wants the fence.
But he wants the fence, but he wants to do it himself with the old lumber. Is that what
the bigger issue is that he's using rotted material.
Right. He said last time at our meeting that it was good material and he wasn't going to throw it away.
Right. Well, to give you an indication, I don't know if it shows in the pictures, but the 4x4s have been flipped upside down and they were rotting in the ground.
Yeah. Pretty bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
The chair will entertain a motion to impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today, March 14th, 2019, and continue until compliance is achieved or reaches the maximum of $10,000. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. McLean. Second, was that Mr. Jones? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Case number 14. CEB 0219-32, Assad and Selma Neo. Are they present?
No.
Okay. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but they weren't here last time and not here this time.
So what do you want to do?
Got it.
Yes, got it. Madam Chair, members of the board, in this case, this property has been sold, and the property has been repaired. The city's position is we're asking that you dismiss it. The new owner was made aware, and they made sure everything was taken care of. And in this situation, we're asking if that would be dismissed, that they will.
You'll file a case against the new owner?
We will recite a new owner, but it's all taken care of. Everything.
So everything's in compliance,
Yes.
is what you're saying. Okay, so motion to dismiss this case.
Right.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Harrington, second, Mr. Jones, all in favor.
Well, not everything. I'm told that the fence is not. I'm getting corrected long distance. Yeah.
So are we going to dismiss the case then?
Yes, we do want to
Okay.
dismiss it.
All right.
And we'll cite the new owner if they don't get that taken
Okay,
care of.
all right, fine. So we're going to dismiss this case, and we had a motion from Mr. Harrington, a second from Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay, case number 15, CEB 0219-24, Katie DeWeese. Katie DeWeese here? Okay, she wasn't here last time. There was no contact last time. What can you tell us, Mr. Jackson?
Madam Chair, members of the board, there continues to be no contact. The inspectors, Cliff records on the reports, still no contact from the property owner. The property remains in non-compliance. No contact from the tenants, but they continue to park on the unapproved surface. He's requesting a $100 per day fine to a maximum of $10,000.
Okay. Any discussion from the board?
Is there any place on that property that has a legitimate parking place?
In the top left-hand corner, there's a carport, and you can also park on the back side, on the other side of that white fence. You can park
Okay,
there.
so there is parking.
So there is parking, but where's the car? Do we have the?
It's the trailer.
And is that on the side of the house or the front of the house?
In the front of the house.
Was this complaint driven?
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering how you even saw that. It's so far back on the street.
There was multiple cars in the beginning.
Okay.
The trailer's the only thing that hasn't been moved.
All right.
Can I ask you, when you notified them, was it just posted on the house or was a letter sent to the owner?
Letter was sent to the owner, it was posted on the property, and it was also posted at City Hall.
Okay.
And it's just over that trailer.
Yes.
And to bring it into compliance, they would just have to put it in the carport?
You can put it either inside the carport, on the side of the house, or the rear of the house.
Will they have to also get a current tag?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so I can't prove that there's a tag on the vehicle.
You don't know if there is or isn't?
Correct.
You haven't talked to them personally?
No, I've had no contact.
Yeah, that's the problem on this kind of case. It looks like the place is deserted.
Well,
But this is a rental?
We don't know.
We don't know.
It really doesn't matter.
no, it doesn't matter.
It's just, I hate
Well, if it's a rental, the owner can tell them to move it, but if it's the owner,
Well, all he has to do is, I mean, he's been noticed, everything's been done according to the way it should be done. All they have to do is move it. If they had bothered to call, all they'd have to do is move it to the back or...
Well, we're doing the thinking for them. It's been going on since September.
Right, exactly. So okay. Chair, I'm going to propose a motion here and see if there's someone that wants it. The chair will entertain a motion to impose a fine of $100 per day against the respondent effective today, March 14th, and continue until compliance is achieved and reaches a maximum of $10,000. There's such a motion?
so moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion, Mr. Roby. Second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay. Case number 16, CEB 0219-31. Patricia Hurd. I see Ms. Hurd.
Good morning.
Good morning.
State your name and address, please.
Patricia H. Hurd, 822 Vernon Street, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So help me God.
Thank you.
All right. We will hear from our attorney.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you from position of fine. The inspector is Cliff Reckenzone. Mr. Reckenzone reports that Ms. Hurd has been working on this. She's having a challenge with a neighbor. There's some dispute concerning property lines, and the neighbor is not being very cooperative or supportive in allowing her to do what's necessary to get this completed. We're asking that this be amended to the next cutoff for her to see what she can do to get that resolved so she can come into compliance. And tend to Mr. Reckenzone if you have any other questions of staff or probably something Ms. Hurd has to say.
Okay. Mr. Reckenzone, anything you'd like to tell us?
The neighbor next door is pulling her own survey so she can know where her property line is.
Well, that's a good start.
Once she pulls that survey and they can come to a compliance of where the fence should be, then she's going to allow Ms. Hurd to continue to build the fence to finish her project, and we just can't close the case until the permit's filed.
Okay. Ms. Hurd.
I would like to say that my family has been there since 1962. I have all surveys and everything else. I don't mind complying with whatever I need to do. I did not know in the beginning that if you take one fence down to put another fence up, you had to have a permit. I have the permit. I have everything. The problem is people run their mouth. And they won't spend their money if they have any to do what they're supposed to do. This has been going on. The permit was pulled in October. So why is it someone complaining have not excuse me please, have not had a survey? What's the problem? But still they sit down in the middle whereby these people cannot do the work or I cannot get work done. But still, I have to live with my home and everything with tops over the house that been there for 3 years and things. What is Cole doing? I mean, petty things. But still, blue tops, brown tops, and parking on unapproved surface and everything on other people's property.
So have you filed a complaint?
You know.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
No, I haven't filed a complaint.
Okay.
Because I smile and move on.
I think I saw that movie on TV last night, the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Well, except Mr. Captain, good morning. Glad you're here.
Good morning. You want to swear me in?
No. Oh, yeah, I do, actually. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I just want to assure the board, everything we can see at this point, Ms. Hurd has done everything she can possibly do to try to work through this process. We have kind of stepped in and we're trying to help mediate between the two, which is more than we're required to do. But we are trying to work through that process. We have had a conversation with the other neighbor. We have some understanding as far as we're going to use Ms. Hurd's survey. We're going to check that it's accurate. And once we confirm that for her, she is advising that she will allow Ms. Hurd to do what is necessary if we can confirm that is in fact a legitimate survey, which everything we see indicates it is. So I can tell you that I believe we'll have an answer for Ms. Hurd and for everybody else by next cutoff, and that's why we asked for it to be amended until next cutoff, so we can help to resolve this for Ms. Hurd.
So when is the cutoff?
Next cutoff is
April 3rd.
April 3rd.
I must say that I don't have a problem, and yes, it's a very narrow space, but with my age, and we never know what's going to happen tomorrow, I'm going to put a 3-foot fence, a 4-foot, whatever it calls for, all the way down the property line to the street. I don't want my family to go through this.
Again.
I can stand it, but they won't be able to stand it. And I don't want no one getting hurt over a piece of property.
We just remind Ms. Hurd that she needs to take that up with license and permitting and make sure.
Okay, I'll do that before I leave.
Right. Right. Okay.
So that's April?
April 3rd. Well, we'll see. That's okay.
You should hear from us sometime next week.
Thank you all.
Wait
Be
a
safe
minute,
out
Mr. Stenson.
Just to address the other complaints in the area, we have hit the rest of the area. We have a thing called Rule of 6. So
Okay.
if we go to one property, we're going to get the rest of them as well.
Right.
So
Thank you.
we've got everybody on your block.
Okay.
That needs to be done.
Thank you.
Right, it needed to be done.
That's right. But TOP's been on the houses for 3 years, which
Okay.
means undoubtedly they don't
All right,
have
well, we're
insurance
gonna,
or
this is
something.
going to get straightened out, and as soon as the survey gets straightened out, there shouldn't be a big issue, right?
You just keep smiling.
That's right.
Good luck. I don't know.
Y'all be safe
All
out
right,
there.
so the
Thank
chair
you.
will entertain a motion to amend the previous order of noncompliance and allow respondent until April 3rd to come into compliance and be returned to a subsequent meeting for consideration. Fine up to $1,000 per day until compliance is achieved. Such a motion?
So moved.
Okay, motion, Ms. Roby, second, Mr. Harrington, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, okay.
Have a good
So
one.
as long as we keep, thank you. All right, 1, 2, now we're on to our new cases. Case number 17, CEB 031964. Barry and Linda Jane Chandler. Good. Glad you're here. Come up and be sworn in. Name and address for the record.
My name is Barry Chandler, 2716 South Atlantic Avenue.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank
I
you.
do.
So you don't live there?
I travel backwards and forwards. We use it as a holiday home.
Oh, so it is your house? But
It's
you
a
just,
yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Okay.
I-
Let me hear from
Sorry.
Mr. Jackson first and Mr. Reckenzone, and then we'll give you a chance to say what you'd like to.
Yeah, Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for determination of compliance, non-compliance. The inspector is Cliff Reckenzone. Mr. Reckenzone reports that this property is in non-compliance. The respondent is parking on the street side yard that's not permitted, and Mr. Reckenzone recommends that he be in compliance as soon as possible, but shortly by next cutoff. Attend to Mr. Reckenzone.
Okay, so this is what we're looking at right here.
Yeah. It's
And there's actually room for these other things, it looks like. So, okay, go ahead. What would you like to tell us, Mr. Chandler?
there is room there. If I park a boat there and things, then I can't get other cars in and out the garage. So when I bought the property, there were other vehicles parked to the side where the grass is. Since I bought the property, a neighbour immediately opposite us made multiple complaints, this being the one that's got this far. When I bought the property, I believed that was my backyard. And
where's the front door?
On A1A, on South Atlantic Avenue. It's a very...
but it's a corner lot?
No, and this is what I've tried to sort of get to this point, and I have had discussions with people downstairs to try and get the definition of street side yard, and they kindly said, go on the Muni Code, everything you need to know about the city is on there, which I've got, and I clearly don't have a street side yard, I have a backyard.
This is the back of your home here?
Yeah, yes.
And that other picture we saw is the front on A1A?
I didn't see the front, so...
It doesn't look like the same house.
I know it, because this is a two-story.
That's across the road. That's
what they're looking
property.
at.
That's not my property.
Okay.
No.
Oh, okay. I see. So across...
it's a very unusual... I mean, I didn't know at the time when I bought it, but it's very unusual that the front of the property... the rear of our property faces the front of other properties.
That's very unusual.
Normally, now I understand it's all fronts to fronts or backs to back. So, obviously, I've got a neighbour that now looks at a boat on my backyard and thinks that shouldn't be there.
Doesn't... Okay. What's the solution in your mind?
I believe I've been cited for saying that I'm in compliance. I'm not on a street side yard. I have a backyard.
Okay.
So what is the solution?
All right, can you tell us what the solution to this is? It's confusing to me because of the front-back side.
Sure, Madam Chair, and members to the board. What he has is two front yards. He has a mailbox. He has as you can see, he has address sign on the street side.
Right.
That's a street side yard.
Okay, so that's considered a front yard.
Yes, considered street side. That's why he has a mailbox and an address.
Right.
I understand he's saying he has the same thing on the other side.
How is it the other side then the same?
I have to look to the inspector since we don't have that photo by error.
Could I just say, I mean, the mailbox was a request in the last 3 or 4 months from the mail department to move from A1A, the mailbox, because they didn't keep wanting to stop. And I did raise a question with the USPS department to say, I've got a bit of an issue with the front and the backyard. The last thing I want to do is to put a mailbox that then defines I've got a front backyard, if you like. So, and I put the numbers off on the back of the property because we were getting deliveries to the other property, which is actually the same number on Ridge Road, 2716. So, I can remove the mailbox, take the numbers off, whatever is,
Mr. Eckenson, where... I'd really like to see the other front yard. I mean, the only time I really understood that there were two front yards, it was a corner lot, right?
The street that you see here.
Yes.
That's Ridge Road.
Yeah.
Ridge Road and A1A.
But that's not the address.
Ridge Road and A1A parallel.
Yeah.
So they both go north and south.
Okay.
His house takes up the parcel takes up the entire land between A1A and Ridge Road. Right. So what you're looking at is the view from Ridge Road.
And A1A is right on the front of it?
Yeah. If you look, if you look over the roof of the buildings, then that's A1A.
Well, if you were to drive up to that house not knowing, you'd think that was the backyard.
I'm sorry?
If you were to drive up the street not knowing anything about that, you would think that's the backyard because
for me, I mean, if you drove the street, everyone uses it as a backyard. You know, there are many other boats and trailers and cars that park there.
What is the answer? Just no parking there, period.
If you put the truck in the driveway, then that would be fine, correct? That part of it. It's the boat that we're having the issue with. is there a place on the property the boat could be moved that it wouldn't be an issue?
If you consider it to be a front yard, or if you consider there wouldn't be a place for him to place a boat or vehicle other than on an approved surface.
What about behind this right away, behind the setback in the front yard? Did you pick on the side of the house, or did you?
He doesn't really have a lot of side yard on both sides of the property.
With the area between you have two front yards. Would the area between setback and setback be considered the side yard?
Right, the side yard would be the only place left.
Is there enough room for people to push that boat back?
No.
No, okay.
So what do you suggest?
But is it true that there are other boats parked down that street there, and this is complaint generated by a neighbor?
Yes.
One of many complaints. This is just the one that we haven't been able to resolve through just sort of discussion or whatever. It is just one after the other. It is and when this one's done, there'll be another one. So, it's just a step-by-step things.
I don't understand how they could call that a front yard. That's obviously the backyard because that's where your garage is, and your address is on Vernon.
No, my address is
his front door isn't there. I mean, a lot of places have garages in their front.
No,
right.
That is.
But
there's
I don't see a door to get into your house.
There is actually.
There is a front door there?
No, well, there's a back door, but, there's also a door on the side. But the address is 2716 South Atlantic Avenue.
Exactly.
That's where the front door is. That's where the mailbox was since 1950 when it was built. It was only just moved for safety reasons recently, which I agreed to. I mean, one other property didn't agree to it. I agreed, and every other house on A1.
So now they all have their mailboxes in their backyards.
All barring one of, I think I counted, it was 68 properties were asked to move it, and only one didn't. So,
Well, I don't think a house can have two front yards. That's just ridiculous.
Well, I've researched that, and if you read that, I couldn't find anything in this county, but there are other counties that have that definition. If you just search the word front yard, Unicode, I think Denver was one reference to it,
but there's no reference to it in our code?
Not that I could see. I mean, I've literally, all I pulled up, you just word search street side yard and you get a picture of a street side, and that is a corner lot. You know, and I totally understand getting access across a corner, but we don't use a corner.
But is the issue still that it's parked on an unapproved space? I mean, if it was concreted over, he could park there. Just saying, not that you have to.
I'll if that's what it takes. I don't want a concrete, but if I was going to do it, it'd be gravel strips with grass in the middle or something. I don't want to just add more concrete. But if a surface change made it, compatible or compliable.
I think that whatever we decide on this applies to everybody else that parks a boat down that street.
Then you're going to have a lot of paperwork.
It's not right for you to be singled out.
And that's what's been expressed by staff, that they will be applying the same rule on the whole street. The obvious intent on the interpretation of the city staff is that is a front yard, and it's based on the intent of why you would, in this whole purpose, prohibit such condition in any front area of the home on the street side. You're not going to allow for parking off on the side of the driveways and have.
But technically, he could move that boat over to the hard concrete ground and put strips in for his car or whatever, and he'd be in compliance, right? Because
no, you can't park a boat.
No, then you can't park in the front yard.
Have a boat in your front yard.
Does the boat fit in the garage?
When I leave, I do put the boat in the garage.
Can't you just put it in there now?
No, because then I've got other vehicles I use that take up that space. So
well, I'm not going to say.
Somebody has to sacrifice.
Sorry.
Somebody's going to have to sacrifice a space.
Yeah, but I mean, at the minute, I'd prefer to clear up the definition of what I've been called in for, and I sort of was, never under the impression there was a two front yard property. And that just changes the whole thing.
I don't think we can decide that.
I don't either.
If that's technically the backyard, though, but it's front yard, backyard.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know what it
feel like at this juncture. I don't feel. I mean, like I can make a decision on this without like knowing that we have 2 front yards on a property that isn't a corner lot.
Well, no.
Legally, it just seems like a mess.
Is that a zoning issue that needs to be rezoned or something? Because obviously the other people that live on that street have always left their boats out there.
Yep.
I mean, are we changing the rules on this after many, many years?
And those are all backyards?
Yeah, everything that's on my side.
On
is
your
backyard.
side of the street, it's all
on the addresses
front
that
yards.
are Ridge Road, then they are front yards.
So their front yards look at your backyard?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So technically that is your backyard?
So you say you have a witness?
Yes, we have a witness who would like to testify.
Okay, come on up. In the sake of trying to clarify something, I just am not understanding. What I do understand is that you can't have a boat parked or a vehicle of any kind parked on an unimproved surface. I get that. That rule is clear.
Certainly if the definition is front yard, then yes.
Whether it's unimproved there.
Right. If it's front yard. Yeah, okay. Good morning.
I am Jane Luzader. I live at 2716 Ridge Road, Daytona Beach.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
What would you like to tell us?
I live across the street from this property.
Okay.
This is the view I get every morning,
I know.
along with several other cars.
Yeah.
I've never had this view before. I've lived in this property since 1978. There's never been a problem. Everybody has maintained their supposedly street side yards to appearances of same as front yards with no problems. This is the only time I've ever had a problem with boats in the yard, extra cars in the yard, extra parking in the yard. He would have room on the side yard, except he has a storage trailer, a huge one, that used to be out front where the boat is now, that I finally got moved to the side yard. So that's why he does not have room in his side yard. This is devaluating my properties. I have 2 properties, 2716 and 2718. This view affects my property values and everybody else's property values on Ridge Road.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody else. There's one other boat that's just appeared down at the corner on Ridge Road that's in a front yard that probably needs to be dealt with. Nobody else has a boat in their backyard or so-called other yard on the street. And to me, it's a problem for my property values and for the view that I have every morning and every single day.
Okay. So I believe there is a solution
Could
to this.
I just reply to the comments that were made under
one
oath?
more, and then we're going to...
Yeah. Bruce Osborne was the owner of the property before us, and I think Jane has forgot the vehicles, trailers, and equipment that was parked on the property.
That's
But if you're going to say under oath, there has never been any vehicles there. You've got to be very specific. I don't have those pictures with me, but when we bought the property, I think Jane's forgot just how many vehicles.
Okay.
No, I haven't forgot. I did complain about that.
Okay.
And he was under construction.
But that's
at the
got
time.
nothing to do with what we're
It has
dealing
nothing
with
to
now.
do with
So I
what's
don't want to.
going on now.
I don't want to talk about that.
Seems to me the issue is you can only put so many eggs in a
Yeah.
carton for a dozen eggs.
Exactly.
And that's it.
Okay.
If you've got too many vehicles, you can't park them on
Right.
on
You
the
have to
lawn.
find
That's
other
it.
places to park these vehicles. That seems to me.
I
You
will-
can ask Mr. Reckenzone what you're,
Yeah.
because we can't give you advice, but you can ask Mr. Reckenzone how you can come into compliance.
Yeah.
But when I look at that, whether it's the front yard, whatever, it's not in compliance.
If it's a front yard, it's not in compliance. I totally agree. If it's a street side yard, I totally agree. I'm defining it as a backyard, a real
You
yard.
purchased a house with 2 front yards.
Or you've got a right that, every house on that road is 2 front yards.
And again, the
Go ahead,
emphasis, we've been putting a lot of emphasis on whether it's front yard or not front
Right.
yard. The real emphasis is that it's the street side yard. And I don't think there's much question, especially with the mailbox, especially with the signs, especially with even the neighbors facing as that it's street side, that it is the highway, the roadway. It's a street side yard, and that's not a street side appearance that anyone wants.
But
and
according
it's not what's approved.
According to your own documents that show exactly the layout of the street side yard, that isn't a street side yard.
Do we have anything from the planning and zoning director saying that it is? Is there like...
At this point, what I'd like to do is get somebody from, as Mr. Sino just pointed out, from planning and zoning, get them to explain this to us, and get it straightened out.
Yeah.
And I don't see that we can do that right this second, so I would like to table this until the next meeting, so I can clearly understand what this is. And I see what you're saying. I see what the witness was saying when, they wake up, it's devaluing her property. They wake up and that is their view, and that's wrong. And I agree with Mr. Harrington that, too many vehicles for the space, especially when you have two garages.
And I would say even what Mr. Chandler's presenting here, which he hasn't presented to you yet, while it says he's indicating, well, this is our definition of a street side yard, and a front yard in the way that that's laid out, but both of them clearly street side. It doesn't change that they're street side just because it's in the front or on the side. It's still
parked on grass.
So it's street side okay.
And that's its violation.
Okay, street side I get.
No street side park.
Right, okay.
Well, why don't we...
So whether it's a front yard, backyard, a side yard, no street side parking.
Right. That's fine. And I have no objection to your original suggestion to bring it back. Either technically it's in violation.
Yes.
We could vote on it now, or if you want to bring it back with more testimony from planning, that's fine with me.
We just need somebody to tell us that this is street side and what the definition of street side is, what can be put in street side. And it looks like all these things you're telling us is things that can be done, or can't be done. I think that, but I'm saying usually when we have a situation where there's a planning and zoning issue, we get an opinion from the planning and zoning department saying this is what this particular property is, and then it gives us a direction to which way to go.
Yeah,
we haven't had that much here, but this hasn't happened. We haven't had that up here because we had a problem.
Right.
But I think we needed some sort of a definition from somebody, like the planning and zoning director saying, what is this? This is street side, and then we would know we can't. Then this is a violation to park in the street side.
His problem is he has two street sides. He doesn't have the back.
Well, he actually does, but he's got something else there.
Yeah. On his
so
other side.
There's a solution to this. We just
well,
don't.
I agree. I mean, if I remove some of the
we need to do, what is the code of the city say?
I don't know. We need to know what the code of the city says. So do we want to wait now for someone from planning and zoning to come up here and then bring the case back? We'll move on with another case. I'm not willing to spend...
we need the definition, Tony.
And then they give us the...
If I may.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
This is the first time we've had this.
Necessarily. But here's what we're discussing is we can pass this and see if it's a simple, fast answer. If it's something a little bit more detailed and you want us to continue it to the next meeting, then we can do that. We're fine either way. But if you don't mind, we don't mind passing it and going and at least see if we can get a zoning person.
Okay, so we will, if you'll just take a seat when the zoning person comes, and then we'll get, because I don't want to spend too much more time on this.
I don't.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so we'll get that clarified and then we'll make a decision.
Sorry.
Because I see a lot of ways to make this right.
So we don't want to tell him to put his boat on the driveway, and that'd be a violation.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, if it's changed to a front yard, it would be. Yeah.
But he can put it in the garage.
But he can put it in the
That's
garage.
not a problem. In the garage, no problem.
Yeah, and it's a potential impact for a whole block if indeed, I know there's a difference of opinion on how many violations there are on the block, but it's the potential to impact the whole block. So we'd like to make sure that we're all...
Well, that's exactly right. If we're going to get more cases, we need to know exactly what the rules are. Okay.
Especially if they all been told to put it...
All right, so if, Mr. Chandler, you'll just wait, and we'll bring you back up. We'll continue the case. All right, so we'll move on to case number, I'm sorry, it just is confusing to me. Case number 18, CEB 031963, Edith Fernando. Okay, compliance or non-compliance at 530 Shady Place. Mr. Jackson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the inspector is Cliff Reckenzone. No surprise, no one's here. He's had no contact from anyone. This is before you for determination of compliance or non-compliance. It's vacant property with no one being responsive, and so we're asking for you to make a finding of non-compliance to give them till next cutoff to come to compliance. Okay. We've done all of the notification as required by statute.
Good. All right. Any questions? The chair will entertain a motion to find respond. I just looked at that picture. The chair will entertain a motion to find respondent non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date, April 3rd, 2019, and be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
Second.
Motion, Mr. Harrington. Second, Ms. House. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign
Is
opposed.
there a max required?
A what?
How much a day?
Up to 1,000. That's the maximum. Okay, case number 19 in compliance. Case number 20, CEB 0319-65. Larry, Lisa, Lizbeth Johnson. Any of these people present? All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, go ahead.
State your name.
State your name.
Mary Lynn Hastings. I'm the broker for Mary Lynn Realty and property manager for this property.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this here before you for determination of compliance or non-compliance. The inspectors Jerome McCoy. Mr. McCoy reports that this property remains in non-compliance. They have been working on obtaining a license. They had a rental inspection on March 1st. Still have some things they need to take care of. It has not been rescheduled for reinspection yet. We're asking for finding a non-compliance next call for them to come into compliance.
Okay.
To Mr. McCoy, if you have any factual questions.
Okay. Mr. McCoy, what needs to be done?
It's some issues with the leakage. Well, it's the damage on the inside of the walls where water is coming down, water stains is coming
from the
down.
roof?
Yeah, it's not the it's just the stains, the evidence that it has some a leak, an active leak up there. I did speak to the owner, and he said that the roof had been looked at, but I haven't been provided with any documentation that it has been corrected. It's also an issue with the air unit. It's the central air unit that the heat, it's an issue with the heating on there that needs to be addressed. The other issues is minor. It's a fence that needs to be corrected with some rotted wood, and on the exterior of the front of the house is some rotted wood also, and some of the siding on there is pulling away a bit.
Sounds like there's still some work to be done here, and we may need permits or no permits, depending on the roof inspection.
If it is actually some something's going on with the roof, then
Yeah.
I would need a permit to be pulled.
Okay.
Is this the first time this property's been up for rental? Or is this a previous rental?
It was when I became aware of the property, it was a tenant complaint. So it was originally a tenant that was there. He's no longer there. The property is vacant at the time.
Property is vacant right now. Okay. All right. Ms. Mary Lynn, do they intend to re-rent this property? Since
Not
you're the
until
manager?
everything is up to compliance. I told them that I would not rent it while we were in any kind of violation. And that's the reason when the notice was posted on the door Tuesday night, the owner called me yesterday and said I had to be here at this hearing this morning. And I was like, I had 2 other appointments this morning.
Well,
I'm getting roof estimates because, in my opinion, the roof needs to be replaced.
Okay.
What happened with the heat unit is it's not a 3-ton AC unit. It provides heat, but would only bring the house up to 73 degrees, and the tenants wanted it at 78 in January when we had those cool days. The law says I have to provide heat. The owner has to provide heat. The unit had heat. I've managed it for a number of years, and we've never had a complaint on the heat till I got an AC guy out there, and he said the compressor is a smaller compressor than what is required to provide heat to try and get
For that
78
space.
or 80 degrees in a house. So that's why they filed that complaint.
You've
But-
managed this for several years?
Pardon?
You've managed this for several years?
I have probably 5.
And what
probably
about
5.
these other conditions? Where
The
were
owner
you?
had a rental license. Okay, they're responsible for renewing it every year. I just found out he had not renewed it, or I would have canceled him long time ago or followed up with it.
Excuse me, I get very confused. What a property manager does, if this property got into improper repair, isn't that a property manager's responsibility?
Yes, we have reported it to the owner. I can only require the owners to do so much work, and that's the reason I let the tenant out of the lease.
Right.
With no, so we're getting roof, and everything will be up to compliance. And
I mean, the owner of the property is responsible for the property. A property management agreement can say whatever you want. So
But I
it's
can't
actually,
force
that
them to
is
do
correct.
work.
She can't force them to do work.
Yeah, I understand that. What I'm just wondering is not
Okay.
why we don't have the owner here instead
Right,
of the property
exactly.
manager. If
because
the
he
property-
couldn't get off work with such short notice, he did not get the notice until 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
Well, that
Called
wait,
me.
we can stop right there. I don't think that's how that happened. We can check on that to make sure that that's how that happened. That may be what he told you, but generally, you're given.
It was said February 1st he was notified.
Right. Yeah, he was notified February 1st anyway, the first notification.
I don't know where his mail went, but he
I don't know
called
where
me
his
and
mail
said it
went
was
either, but that's
posted
not-
on the door.
Okay.
There's nobody in there, so I had no
Right,
reason
so
to go
it's
to
not,
the
all
property.
right, the issue is not with you, the issue is with the owner.
Correct.
And as such,
Is the owner local? Is the owner here in Daytona?
Yes.
no, okay.
Yes.
All right. So the chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in noncompliance or respondent to come into compliance by the next cutoff date, April 3rd, 2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
All right, motion, Mr. Roby. Second, Mr. Harrington. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. So
If we
he
have
has-
to get a roof put
well,
on.
then, so be it. So then we'll decide that at the next meeting. But for right
Okay.
now, we need to get the owner moving. No, case number 21 is in compliance. Case number 22.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if you like, we
Sir.
could return to number 17. We did have a response.
Oh, okay.
This was Mr. Chandler.
Okay. All right, you can come back up so we can address you as well. All right, we're now going to go back, before we move on to another case, we're going to go back to case number 17. CEB 031964, okay?
Yeah, Madam Chair, as to our inquiry over at zoning, we would need some more time to really get everything that you would need. So we would ask if you'd continue to the next meeting, and then we can get the answers that way.
Okay, terrific. And that would just make me feel better, like that we're doing, okay.
Understand quite reasonably.
I understand what.
Right, that's what we wanted to do.
Okay, so the chair will entertain a motion to continue the case until our next meeting on April 11th, 2019. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Motion, Mrs. House. Second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, now we'll go back to case number 22, CEB 031934. Case number 21 was in compliance. That was CEB 031933. So here we are with Elvina Miller. Is person here? No. Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this case is before you for determination of compliance or non-compliance. The inspector is Daniel Garcia. Mr. Garcia reports that the property remains in non-compliance. He is requesting next cutoff of the property to be brought into compliance. There is a neighbor witness who would like to be heard, and so would ask that that person could come forward and be heard.
Okay.
But that's what we're.
All right. Witness, good morning.
Hi, how you doing? My name's Greg Sheridan. I live at 554 North Ridgewood, which is right next door to that building.
Okay.
We've been there for 18 years. And it was the... oh, I'm sorry.
Raise your right hand.
Right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. We've lived there 18 years. The property had been vacant since 2011. In 2011, she rented it to this couple, Mr. and Mrs. Phelps. The next month, she got arrested, and the husband, I don't know where he went. Her daughter and the daughter's boyfriend took over. Then they disappeared for a while, and there were just all these other people living there.
Now?
Yeah, now there's probably like a dozen and a half people living there right now. I mean, I could tell you all kinds of stuff that is not civil, but...
Okay,
Yeah,
we get it.
Yeah. You'll see every once in a while she'll be banging on the doors, and you ask what she's doing, and she'll tell, she's trying to get her rent. And we tell her good luck. The woman who lives there says she's buying it, but it's a rent with the option to own it.
Yeah, okay, great.
So I don't, Mr. Garcia and I have talked. I mean, I can't really prove that she's renting it, because I guess that's the thing they're saying, is that she's living there for free. I don't know how that works with you all. That's all somebody can just say, well, we're not charging rent.
Well, I mean, she does, the violation is they have no business tax receipt, they haven't obtained that, and they haven't gotten a rental license.
No, ma'am. And it's been rented since June, so this much time has gone by.
I don't know whether people are squatting. I don't know. I mean, it may be a police issue as well. I have no idea.
If you notice, there was that moving trailer and truck yesterday and the day before. Somebody else moved in. So the mailbox did say 550 North Ridgewood.
Yeah.
Now it says 551 and 2. They wrote on the mailbox.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah. I mean, pretty clear. We've got some violations going on, right?
Yes, but
okay.
nothing further.
All right.
But that's the next cutoff for them to come to compliance.
Okay. Captain Lee, does this, with that many people living there, or does that make this a police issue of any kind?
There may be a secondary violation of like dorm living, but it'll have to be addressed.
Yeah, through this. Okay. Okay.
And then if there's squatters, which we don't believe, law enforcement's already been in contact with some of these people, we don't believe this is a squatter situation.
Okay.
So that would be
All right. Okay. All right. The chair will entertain a motion to find respondent non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date, April 3rd, 2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Mrs. Roby, second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. That's all we can do right now, and
Thank you very
next
much,
month it'll come back. And
Sorry for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming. All right. Jeez. We have quite a few cases to go. If we took like a little break, and then during that break, if you're here for a specific case, because these are all new cases, we move through them pretty quickly, but especially if people don't show up. But if you're here for a specific case, we will hear your cases first. So we'll take a break and get these names, and you want to come up and give your name to our board secretary, June Barnes.
Do you have any attorneys here? Any attorney?
I don't know who he is.
Are you here for?
All right, the first case we're going to hear is case number 35. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 38. I've already got myself confused.
We're on 38?
We're on 38. I'm going to tell you.
Oh, okay, cases while I was out. Very good.
I know, really. Case number 38. CEB 0319-44, Catherine and Stephanie Fisher at Kingston.
You're going to be arrested for stealing too.
Have been many times.
Good morning. State your name and address for the record.
Stephanie Fisher, 141 Kingston Avenue,
Okay.
Daytona Beach, Florida.
Be sworn in.
I know you're going to testify, Bill.
I'm Catherine Fisher.
Okay.
Raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay. Good morning again. We'll start over.
Yes. Madam Chair, members of the board, we're here for determination of compliance or non-compliance. The inspectors, Mike Fitzgerald. Mr. Fitzgerald reports that the property remains in non-compliance. He's asking that the property be brought into compliance by the next cutoff, and I turn to Mr. Fitzgerald if you have any factual questions.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Fitzgerald or anything you'd like to say, Mr. Fitzgerald? Okay. Is there anything you'd like to tell us?
Well, first of all, I was 8 months pregnant, so I did do the painting on the bottom portion of the house. I don't have a ladder. I couldn't get up there. I'm not working. I have no income, so I did as much as I possibly could by when I could, and then I finally had a neighbor tell me that I had something taped to my door. So that's.
You don't live there?
I'm not living there because my father had a massive stroke. I'm living with my mother.
So neither one of you live there, but you both own the property?
Correct. But
That's your residence.
it's my residence.
Okay.
It's my house.
That's where you used to live?
Correct.
Okay.
And that's where I'm going back home eventually, but yes.
For the time being, you're with your mom, and your dad had a stroke, and so you're with them?
He's fully handicapped now.
Okay.
He just did a 33-day.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. But that will. Okay.
But that's why she's with me.
Okay. Well, you also own the house.
My name is on it. That's her residence.
Yeah, I get it. I get that she lives there, but you also are part owner of the house.
We have both names on both of our houses.
Okay. So we need to get some work done here, obviously, and it can't be left up to. It could be. And it doesn't look like you need any permits on here. Is that true? Mr. Fitzgerald, yeah, let's talk to Mr. Fitzgerald a second. Okay.
Michael Fitzgerald, City of Daytona Beach Code Enforcement. My credentials are on file. It's painting and fixing the fence.
Okay.
Pretty much it.
Okay.
No permit.
Okay. And I see that it may take you some time. You may have to get. Yeah, you got to get it done.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. All right. It's obviously in non-compliance. Do you agree?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
My feeling is that it probably is not going to be in compliance by next month, that we would wait 2 months. Would that be acceptable to the city?
That's acceptable as long as she recognizes she still needs to maintain the external.
Right.
She has some outside storage and some debris issues, and in a couple of months,
Some
that
things
could
can be
become a
picked
problem
up and
again.
straightened up and...
Especially when I'm physically not there. it can
Right.
become a problem.
Well, what does everybody think about that?
I think we should be as lenient as possible under the circumstances.
Okay.
And last time we were here, aren't there agencies that she could reach out to? Are there agencies you could reach out to help?
I have reached out to just about everywhere, and there is nothing for the city of Daytona Beach. Now, Holly Hill, I can get all kinds of grants and stuff like that for single moms and help, but Daytona Beach, there is nothing.
Okay. Well,
32114.
right.
Yep,
32114.
Exactly, that's what I was told by everybody.
I know. All right. That's not, I'm sorry that you're having those problems. We have to deal with what we have to deal with. And that the only thing we can do is give you a little extra time so that you can deal with those things.
Just keep making progress.
Yes, yeah, do that. Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in noncompliance or respondent come into compliance by 5/1/19 or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Roby. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. McLean. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've got a little extra time. All right, that was case 38. Now we're going to move to case 35. That's your case, sir? That's at the top of that same page. This is CEB 0319-47. Robert, I'm going to make a stab at this, Hassai. That's the best I can do right now, till someone corrects me.
State your name and address, please.
Good morning, James Stowers, 85 Apicus Avenue, Ormond Beach, here on behalf of the property owner, Robert Sy.
Zai. Well, I wasn't too far off. What? Okay.
You're an attorney.
Yes, I am, ma'am.
An attorney. Okay. Stour, Mr. Stour. All right. We will hear from Code Enforcement Department first, Mr. Jackson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for determination of compliance or non-compliance. The inspector is Mark Jones. Mr. Jones reports that this property is currently in non-compliance, and he's asking that it be brought into compliance by next cutoff. I turn to Mr. Jones.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning. Yes, this is a unit that is they're renting 4 units, or have for rent 4 units. It's in an area that is zoned for single family. Back in July of 2012, when they adopted the new ordinances for rental properties, this property did not have a rental license. The property owner was forwarded an application for the rental license back in February of 2013. Then when the city did not hear from them, a letter was generated by the chief building official back in July of 2013 stating that they had to come into compliance or they would lose their grandfathering as a fourplex in a single family unit. And they did not apply for a rental license until April of 2017. Now this was a different owner. The first owner was James Fields. There now is a new owner. In April of 2017, they submitted for 4 units, and that application was denied in May of 2017, and their application fees were returned. In July of 2018, the same owner submitted another application for 4 units, which was denied. Site visits showed this started off as a owner complaint, or as a citizen's complaint, because they saw for rent signs out front of the unit. I have talked to the owner numerous times. They turned around and submitted an application in January of 2019 for 1 rental license. The problem is 3 of the units are occupied. So our feeling is it needs to be that it's in non-compliance, and we need compliance the next cutoff.
Okay. So, was this originally a single-family house?
No, it was not originally a single-family home. I believe it was built as it's shown as 4 units. It's presently zoned as single-family.
You've never written this up as a code violation for that roof or anything that you keep?
No, what the violation was, what the complaint was that came in, was for a unit, 4 units, where it's only supposed to be a single unit, and they had no rental license on file.
Okay, so they're grandfathered in for the 4 units?
No, they're not.
No, because the first owner didn't do what they were supposed to.
Here's a copy of the letter from the chief building official back in September of 2013. Here's a couple copies stating that if they didn't apply for their license, they were going to lose their grandfathering for a 4-plex, and would have to go back to a
single family. So the rule is basically that if it's not used as or licensed as a rental property for a certain period of time, then the grandfathering goes away. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
And the current owner purchased it after it had already lost that grandfathered status.
That is correct.
Okay. I guess you're going to have something to say.
Right.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Good morning again, James Stowers. I guess I wouldn't be here if there wasn't some more nuanced details to this. I'll first go back to that issue of 2013. You have a letter that the city sent to the then owner, and unfortunately, that was a letter that was sent. This property, my client acquired the property August 2013. This letter was received apparently by the past owner in September 2013. So we're now in 2019, reaching back 6 years, trying to figure that out. From what I understand, that's the point at which this it's non-conforming. I mean,
right.
This was built in 1949. I think it's actually a cool building. And
it was built in 1949, you said?
That's what.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. As a 4-plex.
Yeah, I believe so. That's what it is.
And it was permitted at that point as a 4-plex. I just want to get these facts. Yeah.
That is my understanding.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
then, when did the zoning laws change? I guess that's not your material.
So what you're saying, though, is that the current owner now should have gotten that letter, and it went to the previous owner.
That's my understanding. I mean, the letter's addressed to the former owner, and again, this is going back. So I spoke with the client, the owner, and I haven't had time to verify this, and it's going to go back. And we can revisit that in a moment, but he's telling me he acquired the property in August. He did some work to it, and he's been renting it since then. Now, I don't know why or how there wasn't a business license in place in 2013 or 14 or 15 and 16 and 17, but I think that's a separate issue from whether it was occupied or not, which is the important thing for the non-conforming. If you don't have the use in effect,
correct,
you lose it.
Correct.
But if it's being rented, I think that's a different issue.
So
that's
right.
sort of the first level. The second level is there's some details about this 2017 application that I understand where the city's coming from. I spoke to Mr. Jones, but I'm still not clear on how that went down. As I asked the client, has there been code enforcement issues on this property in the past? And I looked at your website, the city's website, and it turns out there was an open file, Code Enforcement 2017-1002, no business tax receipt and no rental license. This was just 2017. And it says, open 3/31/2017. The property owner submitted on April 27, 2017, the tax receipt with the individual, where is it here? So for the four with the application fee, submitted it, and according to him, and this is just hearsay, but he said he did not receive the check back that refunded the money. And as far as he was concerned, he believed that this application with the fee he met the permitting requirement for 2017. Now, I'm still skeptical about that, but what's interesting is, and I pulled this off the city's website this morning, this is the documentation from this Code Enforcement 2017-1002 matter, and it says the matter was closed 5/10/2017, which is consistent with this application being submitted April 2017. And then this is the big one. It says the status, compliance. So, this is from this morning. This is on the city's website. So if there's something contrary to this, then I would prefer there be a record of that. And so that's sort of unwinding 2017, which has some questions. Then when you get to 2018, he came in and he submitted another application which the city received July 19, 2018. And my understanding is this was rejected or not accepted. Then there was the matter came back in December that said you don't have a license, so you don't have the thing that you submitted to the city in July because we won't approve it because of this use issue, the 4 different units. And so the client, I think, I would have recommended differently, but he submitted for 212 Williams Avenue 1 unit, and I can only surmise his thought process was, well, let me try to see if I can get, if the city is telling me 1, let me submit for 1 address and see if I can get that. But that didn't get anywhere, and he was then, given this notice for hearing, which brings us to today. And so, one thought I've had as I've sat here the last couple hours is, maybe drilling down and trying to get to exactly when that nonconformity was lost, if there's some documentation of that. Right. But I think there is a disagreement perhaps about whether that was lost, because as I said, my client's telling me it's rented now. It's been rented as long as he's owned the property, and so there's this question of if there was some misstep or miscommunication 6.5 years ago, does that warrant where we're at? Now, this is the last thing I'll say about this. Where are we? We're at the point where the position of the city has been, and I don't want to speak for them, but the position of the city has been, we will grant you your business license if you tear out all of the kitchens in the other building, throughout the building. Well, again, we started by saying this is the building that was constructed years ago. It's non-conforming. How do you unwrap that? You're going to take out walls, change the front doors, all to get a business license to rent to one person. And so, your code says you can't go through a variance. So where I feel like we're at is trying to nail down. Okay, if you're going to tell us it's non-conforming, that's a death blow to this property owner. So if there is an opportunity that we can go back and say, okay, it is non-conforming, they have kept it up, and let's keep that non-conformity in place unless they abandon it for 3 months or 6 months, whatever.
Yeah, it depends on the kind of property, I guess.
And that's, perhaps an opportunity to reset on what appears to be miscommunication from 2013.
What does the county tax assessor say he has? A fourplex or a single-family home?
It's fourplex. It's listed, and he's being taxed as such. I think the building is $254,000 value, and that's the building, not the land.
Right.
And so it's being taxed as
a four.
Right.
fourplex.
In the last 6.5 years, has he ever had a rental license for a fourplex, or did he only apply for a 1 unit?
This is a new owner.
Well,
I know.
No, he said
He's been there 6.5 years.
And I
He has been there
Right.
6.5 years.
And I don't have whether or not, I don't have confirmation if he had, I don't think he did. So again, it's a separate issue.
Right.
Of was he out of bounds and he was renting this place and he didn't have a rental
Right.
license? That's a separate issue from the non-conforming.
We don't agree.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Just make it-
Okay.
We don't agree that that's a separate issue.
Okay.
We believe our code requires him to be compliant with law. And the whole issue of whether or not he got a letter or not, the letter was a generosity fact that says we're allowing a one-time grace period. It was a gift, it was an offer, but it didn't change the law. The law was still the same, and because they didn't get the letter, it doesn't change the law. They were not using it. Even if they continued to use it, they never obtained the licenses required. They never even obtained business tax receipts that would make it a valid or lawful use. So the use was abandoned. And once the use was abandoned, it was abandoned. And while the result is a tough result, as it's being described, I don't know if it's unreasonable in any way. I'm sure it isn't, because it is what it is. That's what the law is. That it has to convert back to the single-family status. And so that's what's being required. I know they disagree. I know they don't feel good about it. I'm not saying anyone should. I'm just saying that is what the law requires. Article 1, Section 5.3, subsection F, non-conforming uses of land development code states an existing non-conforming use of any building or structure shall not be reestablished after discontinuance for 3 months in any redevelopment district or discontinued for 6 months in any other district.
Right.
And then this is just a note that was included in this letter. Consequently, once in violation of this land development code, properties may be required to be restored or converted to lesser or single-family use to comply with the current zoning. Nonconformity is something that's starts.
Yeah, it's near and dear to my heart. I can tell you that nonconformity.
And so.
But go ahead.
No.
I don't want to interrupt you.
Well, I was just saying, and so it starts with illegality. That's legal nonconforming, and it remains legal, and it's not expanded, and it's not all those other things that we know are necessary that you're not allowed to do with a property that's nonconforming. The whole desire and plan is that at some point that as things change, that it would attenuate and become part of the new zoning plan and idea. So it's not that the desire is for it to be that way forever and ever because it was that way before. Even though I understand the
See if I can understand something, Tony. What you're saying that when the city adopted the rental license, license process back in 2012.
Well, we had a business tax receipt.
Right. No, I understand that.
But yes.
You can't get the business tax receipt until he gets the rental license.
Well, before you didn't.
Well, there was a rental license
to do
right
with business tax receipt.
So we say because he didn't get the business tax receipt,
yes,
he abandoned the use.
Which was the
non-conforming use.
Well, that's a starting point, right?
Right.
Are you legally conforming if you don't have an occupational license with the rental? We had an occupational license program even before, but subsequent, yes, we started a rental program, and yes.
When did the rental program start?
I believe 12 sounds about right.
Really?
July 18th, 2012.
Thank you.
But is the city alleging that the reason that the non-conforming use ceased was abandoned because he didn't have a rental license and a business tax receipt? Is that what your argument is?
Say that again, I'm sorry?
Okay. Is your argument that the use was abandoned because of the fact that he had no business tax receipt and no rental license? No, it's because
he didn't.
Right, he never conformed, so yes.
Okay. He didn't have either of them?
Yeah, ultimately it became the issue of not having a rental license as we started a rental program.
So that's what made him not conforming. I just don't understand this.
Well, he was not conforming. She said he was allowed to be in the district.
Is that he didn't, if he had asked for a rental license or he had done that, submitted for a rental license, would it still be a fourplex?
if he would have, when he bought the property, applied, it would still be a fourplex because he would have fell into the grandfather.
I don't know that answer.
Okay.
Look at my inspector. I don't know.
Well, as of September 29th, 2013, when there was not a rental license applied for, it lost its grandfathering. They'd given it quite a large extension until that. It gave them, as they called it, a one-time grace period to then. So it has not been licensed as a fourplex.
So did Mr. Zai own the house in 2013 when that happened?
So that notice went out, I believe, July.
Okay.
It was received apparently. I know it was addressed to the previous owner.
It was addressed to the previous owner. Let me just. Okay.
And then my client acquired the property August 2013. So again, it becomes a question.
But would it be incumbent upon the previous property owner to inform your client the issue occurred? I mean, it definitely affects the price of the property, the value of the property.
So that's when you closed on it, 2013?
August.
August.
That letter,
was
the date
July.
On that letter is September, I believe, September 29th.
Okay.
It is September 9th, 2013.
So, this guy may say, and I'm speculating here, I'm out of this property, I don't care, throw it away. Well, my client, I don't know if he got the letter, if he ever saw it, but again, in terms of the question of whether having a rental license maintains the use, or we're focused on this non-conforming letter of 2013, I would suggest that it is the 2013 letter because that's what's included in the materials before you today. And so, again, I go back to and perhaps this is a come back next month type of situation. But
I don't.
And if I can get my client to show and demonstrate that he's rented this property and had it in use.
But if he would have went and got a license in 13, he would have found out it was conforming to grandfathered in. He didn't do that,
Right.
So that's why the city pulled that.
Right. Well, there's two questions. They said he didn't have a business tax receipt and he didn't have an occupational license or a rental license. I have to go find that out. So I'm happy to go track that down.
I just have a couple comments. So I think we're just a little off topic, and the reason why we're here about compliance, he's not in compliance currently. I appreciate what he's saying, and I appreciate the fact that there may be some kind of issue where the notice was in the mail at the time the property transitioned. That's really not what we're here to decide today, in my opinion.
Good.
He can work through that with zoning and everybody else in order to work towards coming in compliance. If they appreciate what he's saying, they think there's value in what he's saying, and they change something for him, that's a possibility. I don't know. That's another department that has really nothing to do with this board. The fact is, right now, in order for it to be rented, it needs to have a rental license, and it doesn't. So it's not in compliance.
Okay.
And to just answer the question about the previous compliance in 2017, the rental program has adapted and changed over the years. And back then, there was a practice in place where when you applied for the license, we closed the code case, and there's even a note in there indicating the person's now working through the rental program. They didn't complete that process, so that's why ultimately we're here today. Any questions for me?
So I think that's where we are today. I think that Captain Lee kind of summarized what we're here to do. You don't have a rental license for this, so it's not in compliance. The fact that they may or may not give you one is probably a separate issue.
Yeah, and I would encourage that conversation with zoning to address those concerns, because those are valid concerns from an owner who takes possession of the property in a transition.
Okay, go ahead.
Without beating this to death, I would disagree, because when speaking with Mr. Jones, the basis for not providing the very business and rental license that we're talking about, the basis of it is the fact that there are these units there. And so the two are intertwined, and they can't be separated. Because but for this if this nonconformity is addressed, the business license, they'll have the walkthrough, it would be issued. So they are, so again, it goes back to perhaps I've got some homework in the next month. I can try to drill down on details of the occupation or the business license. It sounds like they do not had this rental license. And then I can also try to work with the city on dealing with this, what appears to me to be a notice issue. And, if I was here in 2012 and I was paying attention when all this stuff went on, and there was a lot of outreach from the city because there was a lot of concern about this exact situation, that, you'd put in these nonconformities, people would lose it, and then, it's a devastating impact to property owners. And so, unfortunately, this is one of those lingering ones, I feel, that is just sort of, and again, we're talking about 2013. Yes, there was a 6-month process, but then the question is, what if someone bought at exactly the wrong time and didn't know about that process? And so we're happy to work with the city on that.
We just can't resolve that here.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. This can't be resolved at the code, but it's not completely a code issue.
Well, there's no question that there's a violation. The question is, can he comply? Is there a way for him to come into compliance?
Right.
And that's what we don't know.
And we don't know that. So if we find them in non-compliance,
have them come back in progress for 2 months. I mean, give them the time to research it.
And to work something out, is that acceptable to the city? I mean, if we find them in non-compliance and give them a couple months to come into compliance or find a solution or whatever the compliance issue is?
Certainly, our desire is to see compliance. Well, and if that's that he can have 4, I'll be happy to get with Mr. Sowers. I mean, we're going to get with zoning or what else.
See, that's another issue where
I think he's indicating the same, that he'll get with the people that he needs to get to in the city to answer those questions. And if it allows him to have 4, then he has 4. So if it says he has to have 1, then it's 1. And if they want to, take legal actions on that, then they'll do that, I'm sure. But I think we're
and then in the meantime, what do we do? Find them in non-compliance because they don't have the rental inspection, the rental license, and the BTR. It just is kind of mind-boggling to be able to find them in non-compliance for that and they can't get it.
I think we can do that. We can find non-compliance and then pull it back a couple of months down the road. I mean, we don't know. We're not finding anybody. We're not uncovering the lien. We're not covering anything at this point.
I mean,
there's no question there is a violation.
There was nothing that would have prohibited for a long time.
Yeah, we're not
business tax receipt, but yeah.
Dating his client anyway at this point.
There was nothing on Mr. Jackson?
I said I would have prohibited him to paying the business tax receipt for probably a long period of time. It's been years that they've had this already.
Okay. All right, so the business tax. When you get a business tax receipt, you have to say what the business is for, right?
Yeah. I mean.
So how would he get a license for something that's not
At this
zoned?
time, we agree that he won't get approved for either one of them until we figure out this question. We know that.
Okay, so we need time. We need to. I really believe we need to give them time to figure out the answer, and the city to figure out the answer to this question.
We're not in opposition to that.
Okay, so the question is how much time?
What you're saying is the law is what the judge says it is.
We're hoping not to get that far.
Well, it may.
Well, it sounds like that's where you need to go, but
I mean, I just don't feel that.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out the harm that's being done to the city,
right,
by taking a building out of it was in compliance but non-conforming, that's been in a business for 30, 40 years. What time?
I know it was built that way.
And provides housing for 4 people.
Right.
And the issue is over whether they got a piece of paper or they didn't get a piece of paper. we're getting a lot of that, and that bothers me.
Yeah.
Well, if I can just say, though, our call is to be consistent in where we're applying our laws, and that's all we're really trying to do, not to hurt anyone, not to be
And to be fair,
offensive to our citizens. We don't want to do that, but we do want to consistently apply whatever the codes are to the city.
Well, we got two options at this point. You can either continue the case 30 days, bring it back, or you can find them in non-compliance, give them adequate time to come back and see if we can find a solution to the problem. At that point, you're not encumbering the property, you're not leaning the property. There's no fine at this point. So it's
well, there's no now. Technically, they're in non-compliance.
Right.
And the fine is $250, not any great amount of money
we're
anyway.
far from the point of asking that we fine at this point. All we're asking is that that's the status.
Yeah.
It's a status position. At this
So the status is that the house is in non-compliance.
That's true.
And then we would give them a certain number of months to either come back and we can discuss it.
I mean, that's typically
Or even a
what I would
progress,
say we should
or
at least
even
be
a
able to come back
progress report.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we should at least be able to come back next month and say, here's what we figured out. I think Mr. Sowers has said he needs to go figure out some things. I'll be happy to hear whatever he's finding out and seeing. We may be in complete agreement once he finds out the things he's trying to.
So we would ask for a progress report at the next meeting?
That's fine.
All right. The chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance and further orders. We'll entertain a motion to
Why don't we do a progress
order
report?
a progress
Sorry.
report for the next.
Apologize.
Go ahead. For the next meeting, April 11th, 2019.
Yeah, and maybe and then to determine the compliance date.
And
so we
to,
don't have
at
to have
that
a
time to
compliance date.
to determine a compliance date. Is that all right with everybody? Is there such a motion? Motion, Ms. Roby. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. McLean. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay, so I guess we'll see you next month.
Okay, thank you.
And maybe we'll have some answers for us. Okay. Moving on. We're going to try and go in order now, which would be case number 23.
Oh, we have to go back. Dang.
We ever get all these?
Don't you have some people?
Yes, these are people that are here.
Okay.
These are all people that are here. We're just going to try and go in order.
Okay.
Okay. CEB 031935, Frank Sampson.
Frank Sampson, 333 3rd Street.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Is 3rd Street in Daytona Beach you're talking about?
No, I live in Holly Hill.
Holly Hill.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm here
no
on
problem.
behalf of my father. My father is the owner of the house.
So your father's Frank and you're Frank?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
Madam
All right,
Chair-
let us hear from
Yes, Madam Chair, members
Mr.
of the board.
Jackson.
This is before you for determination of compliance or non-compliance. The inspectors, Daniel Garcia. Mr. Garcia has been in contact with the owner or perhaps the son, but he's been in contact with respondents. He believes they could be in compliance by next cutoff. Right now, they're currently in non-compliance. He's asking next cutoff for compliance. Mr. Garcia, if you have any factual questions.
I do have a couple of questions.
Yeah, okay, just hold on a sec. We'll get there. I'm looking at these. Does this work require permits?
Daniel Garcia, inspector with the city, credentials on file. Not at this time.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. What would you like to say?
Between me and my father, we're quite confused at all of this. My dad didn't really understand, and neither did I, what it takes to have a rental property. The property sat empty for quite some time, and I had a friend, a woman that needed a place to live. She had some children, and being that the house was sitting there empty, we thought it was okay to let her rent and live in the home. We didn't know that we had to have a rental license, a business. We had no idea of any of that. So I think what we're going to do is probably have to maybe do an eviction or ask her to find a place to live, because there's just too much to keep a property up. My dad's in bad health, and for us to keep the property up is just too much. So I think that we're probably going to do an eviction on her. But do we still have to? Obviously, we're going to get the work done, but
Well, I'm not. We can't advise you. That's one of the things that, getting the business tax receipt and obtaining the rental license. If you're going to not run it as a business and not, so those two things would come off the list.
Okay,
but the rest of it would remain on the list.
Certainly.
I think, is this right, Mr. Garcia, especially on the outside, or?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying anything about the work. We're going to
Okay.
do the work, and we're
Okay.
actually in the process of doing it now.
Okay.
But that was the question, was the
All right.
tax receipt stuff. So.
Okay, so.
That's the only thing you'd be exempt from if you evict her.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So if,
When you get
Is
the
she gonna
work
leave
done,
voluntarily, or you're going to have to evict her?
What's that?
Is she going to be able to leave, the person you have in the place, will she voluntarily leave, or you have to evict her?
I asked her to leave voluntarily when this originally occurred, the end of last year, when I think she was the one that made the complaint, I believe. We don't even know how it all come about, but so she couldn't pay the rent, so she made a complaint about some things that needed to be done that she was aware of when she moved in. So now it's become like a vendetta type of thing.
I'm saying,
It's
we see that a lot. That's not unusual.
Yeah.
But was it a complaint?
It was
Was it
generated by
complaint
the-
driven?
No, by the tenant. He's correct.
By the tenant.
Is she
Okay.
paying the rent now? Yes.
Yeah, she has started to pay it. Yeah, we had to lower the rent for her so that she could afford it, but it's just too much to.
Okay. If you want to testify, sir, you're going to have to.
Oh, this is my father.
I
Sorry,
could
he
tell.
just walked back in. Yeah, sorry.
Raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I think what we're just going to do is find you in noncompliance, and then if there's no further discussion, in order you to come into compliance, well, if you've got to evict somebody, it's going to take a while. So,
I don't know if that had anything to say since it came over.
yeah. Okay.
How long does it take to evict people?
I can't answer that question. It
30
goes.
to 60 days.
What's that?
30 to 60 days, depending on the depends.
Okay. So.
2 months.
I would ask her to leave again and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can't.
It's quicker.
Yeah.
We can't tell them what to do, but
Yeah. So when will we have to come back here? Like, will we have time to do any?
2 months.
2 months. Okay.
That's what I'm going to suggest. Whether everybody feels that way or not, I don't know. And at that time, if you come back here, and I hope you will, show up and tell us exactly what's happening. At that time, we can amend, or we can enforce, or we can do whatever. But we will listen to your story again at that time.
See, the problem is she doesn't live up to what I call human standards. She lives like a.
Yeah. Well, then you need. Okay. All right. That's
the work that we do now will soon be trashed within a very short period of time.
Then you start. Well, I can't tell you what to do. I talked to Mr. Garcia. He can, advise you on what to do. We cannot.
Okay.
I don't know how she is about the outside, but if there are any outside things you can take care of, I'd start doing that.
We have pictures of all the stuff we've done so far.
Okay.
If you want to look at them, or
No, we don't need to look at them now. You would just show Mr. Garcia all those things, so he can testify when he comes back before the board again in 2 months that those things are accomplished.
Okay.
That will be in your favor.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in noncompliance or respondent come into compliance by May 1st, 2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Roby, second? Second?
I kind of think that, I'm sorry, but I think we should at least give a chance to come back for progress, because if he is in the process of eviction, we know it's going to take a while. So if we could do it like non-compliance and then a progress report at that time.
In May?
That's what I was concerned about, because if we can't have...
Well, we can amend it, we can't amend it at that point. We can amend our compliance date if there are problems that come up that time-wise that can't be solved. But it gives us the opportunity to kind of keep the pressure on, because there are issues there that need to be addressed. So that would be why we would give you 2 months to get working on all this. And you come back, and if the board, you present your case and the city says they're satisfied that you're making good progress, then we could amend our, there are things we can do to give you more time to finish it up.
Okay, proceed. Sorry.
No, that's all right. So does anybody want to second the motion that's on the floor?
Second.
Second, Mr. Harrington. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay. So in 2 months you come back here and hopefully you'll have things taken care of. Maybe, it can all work out that you won't even have to come back here. But you stay in touch with Mr. Garcia and tell him what's going on every step of the way.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
So
Thank
do we
you.
get a letter in the mail, like when we got to come back?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Good luck.
All right. Case number 27. CEB 0319-62. Kelly Rose, Christian Rueda, Peggy Snyder, and Kimberly Rueda.
Those names are incorrect on there.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
State your name and address,
Okay.
please.
Kelly Rose, 1146 Hermitage Court, Port Orange, Florida.
Are you also testifying? State your name.
Roger Rose, 1146 Hermitage Court.
And how are you related?
I'm present.
Okay.
Raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you.
All right, let me look at these pictures for a minute and get oriented here. The structure is vacant. Okay. All right, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for determination of compliance or non-compliance. The inspector is Danny Garcia. Mr. Garcia reports the property remains in non-compliance, and he's asking for next cutoff for the property to be brought into compliance. And I attend to Mr. Garcia.
Okay. What can you tell us?
Well, this property is vacant. It's it generated by police complaints and has fence issues, has broken windows, peeling paint. Transients were always around it, and I spoke to the owner several times on the phone. She stated that her sisters are tied into the property also. Last we spoke, she stated that she was selling the property. She was going to secure it as best she could. They did put up a fence. The fence fell down. It's down again. I was there yesterday. It's down. The buyer that she had, it did fall through. And then the last thing she said was that she was going to have it demolished, and that was where we stand.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Rose.
Well, in November of last year, we had a buyer for the property, and it was going through. The gentleman who was buying the property owns the lot next to. It was my father's property for 30 years, and when he died, he passed it on to my sisters and I. And those names are not correct on there.
What names aren't correct?
It's Kimberly Rueda,
Yeah.
Kristen Risch, and Peggy Snyder.
Why are they not correct?
According to the attorney who got it, said it was corrected in December. Why it's not on the...
Well, it could be that they just haven't recorded it over at the...
Tax has.
so that would be something you could correct over there with
I have
Volusia.
it corrected.
Okay, well then
Bernie
you
had
give
sent
that information, please,
Okay.
so we get the right names on here. But you are on there.
Correct. And I'm
And is
the-
anyone else on there just now, or just you?
No, we're all on there. I'm just the, I guess, the executor of it when my father made the will out.
Okay.
And
Go ahead.
And say, Madam Chair, yes, Madam Chair.
Yes.
If we can go ahead and maybe make the correction of names.
Right.
I don't know if you wanted to do that just on record, because that is changing the style.
Well,
of
it's only
things.
deleting some of these names. Miss
It
Rose
is correct through the court. My attorney of church sent me a copy of it being corrected in December of last year.
Do you have that?
I just have a picture. The summary judgment. I just have it on my phone.
So you don't have
A copy?
a deed, I mean, a clerk deed or probate deed?
No,
or
I just
anything?
have the copy that she corrected it through the court system.
All right.
So what do we want to do?
Well, we still want to make
make
sure we
sure-
have the proper identification
Right,
of,
I agree.
of owners. So
Right.
whether you want to update it right now or have her do it at the end of the
Kimberly
proceeding.
Risch and Kimberly Wade, I'm sorry, and she's may not be with us very much longer.
She used to be Kimberly Ruda.
It's Kimberly Rueda.
Okay, that's her married name.
Yes, ma'am.
And
it's Kristen Risch, R-I-S-C-H.
We don't have that even on here.
No, we have
well,
Kristen.
We have Kristen Ruda. So I'm assuming that's her married name.
Don't you
Her
need a
name is
legal
Risch,
document
not
to do
Rueda.
that?
Right. No, we have a name on here that's not correct.
Right.
Okay. And
Peggy Snyder is with a Y, not an I.
Does this mean we have to renotice?
No. You sent out a notice based on the
What was
tax
listed,
roll.
yeah.
We have an appearance of Elisa,
Okay.
a party of interest
Right,
that was
okay.
noticed.
All right.
We don't have to renotice.
Okay,
But,
all right.
but we do want to have a corrected style.
Right, we want to get it
And
corrected.
we will follow up. I mean, it's right concern from Ms. Darrington
Okay.
that we look at whatever the formal record is, what
Right.
we can pull. So I'll just,
Okay.
June, follow up with Amy. We'll pull and validate it. But we'll rely on her sworn testimony of those being the individuals that are the listed owners.
Okay.
Now,
All right,
some
so
of
go
these,
ahead.
Some of these pictures are old and some of them are new because the front of the house is different and the driveway has been cleaned up. The picture that's there now, the homeless people have come in and taken portions of the fence and put it up and have now pulled the boards off of the doors and...
Has this been trespassed? Do
It
you
has
have
been.
Whereas the sign should be...
Well, it was, they've moved them all. We've had them all over the house in numerous places. And because at one point, after my father first died, someone connected the water and I had to pay a $500 bill.
What is your intent with this? Are you trying to fix it up, or are you wanting to level it, or what do you want to do with this?
After this point, I filed for a permit to demolish it.
Okay, so once that's done, all of these things go away. The problem with the fence and squatters or whatever you get there. And so when your permit is issued and you demolish it, you'll no longer be out of compliance, right?
When I went to sell the property, I was told that there was a $15,000 fine on it.
Probably.
And it was issued to someone, and my father was deceased, so I'm not sure how that fine even came into play.
Well, obviously it's been a problem for a while, or that wouldn't have transpired previously. So,
So do you have the company lined up that's going to come and demolish it?
Right, my son-in-law is licensed, and he's going to come in and take care
Okay,
of
so
it.
you need
once
I
get the
guess you
permit.
need a permit to do that.
And I've already filed for that on
Okay,
February
okay.
27th. I filed for that.
So, and is this a police issue as well? Do you?
We had filed a No trespassing when the water issue started back in 2017, and I guess it expired because at one point I went to my father's house and there was someone there, and I called for them to come.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Well, we need to move on. This is in non-compliance and.
Right.
Okay.
And it will, you know, when you come back, if it's in the process of being demolished, then the
Okay.
problems go away.
All right. And the permits, we don't know how long they take.
Yeah, I don't either.
No, I can't, we can't tell you how long they'll take. But you said you already applied, right?
On the 27th
Okay,
of February.
okay. You want to add anything, Danny?
No.
Okay. Just stay in touch with Mr. Garcia, too. All right, the chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in noncompliance or respondent committed compliance by the next cutoff date, April 3rd, 2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Roby. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. House. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. All right, so if you're on your way next time, we'll take that into consideration. And
All right, thank you.
okay. Oh, number 30. Now we're at number 30. Case number CEB 0319.
28. Do we miss it?
No, we didn't. I'm scratching them out here. 0319-58.
State your name and address, please.
Patricia Werner, 5208 Mount Plymouth Road, Apopka, Florida 32712.
Sir.
Daniel Rice, 166 South Halifax Drive, Ormond Beach, Florida.
Raise your right hands. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And how are you related to this trust?
I'm a trustee.
Okay.
I'm the property manager.
And what's your name again, ma'am?
Patricia Werner.
What's the address of your business?
228 Bay Street.
Property manager.
We run you want the post office box or the street address?
Street address.
100 East Granada, Suite 215E, Ormond Beach, Florida.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Jackson.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for determination of compliance or non-compliance. The inspector is Danny Garcia. Mr. Garcia reports that the property remains in non-compliance. He's asking he has been in contact with the property manager. He asking that they have this in compliance by next cutoff. And I attend to Mr. Garcia.
Okay. My goodness. Do they need a permit to fix that or to that stairway?
Not for what they're doing.
Okay.
They need to replace a couple of wood slats.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to tell us, or anybody have questions for Mr. Garcia?
Is there anybody, there's people living
Yes.
there? Okay.
Are they in progress of fixing that you can tell?
Yes, he's just gave me a list. I was on the property yesterday. This was generated also by the police. We had a lot of homeless people going in and out. He's made some corrections. They've fixed a glass window that was in the rear that was broken. They've got the rental inspector from downstairs doing a rental inspection, doing a lot of repairs inside and some outside, so we kind of like teamed up on it.
That staircase, was that added after the...
That was always there.
Was always there?
Yeah.
Boy, that's a real staircase.
That's not a working staircase.
Oh.
That's a fire escape.
Okay.
What?
How many units are in there?
9.
9 units?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
9 units in there?
Nine units?
Yes.
Well, that's not a...
Doesn't it get licensed by the state?
Yes. Anything over 5.
So here's what we do. We don't do the rental inspection. The state does it, correct?
No, we have a guy downstairs that's doing the rental inspection. He's actually doing it at this time.
A rental inspection, even though it's more than 5, it's 9 units?
They do more than 5.
They do? I thought that was a state inspection after 5. I may be confused.
We'll get Mark Jones to
Okay.
clarify.
For them to qualify for their BT license, someone from permits and licensing does do an inspection, which is similar to our rental inspection, just to allow them to have the BT license. Then they are licensed by the state for their rental license. It goes through the state, but they have to get their BT license from the city of Daytona.
And in order to do that, what they're doing is just going there, and permits and licensing is going there and doing a visual inspection of the outside, or do they go inside to see that it's rented?
They go inside to check the condition of the building
Okay.
to make sure it is up to the rental standards.
And if it's not, at that point, what happens? They don't get their
They
BTR.
can't get their BT.
But the only thing then, that fine is $250. Does that get reported to the state then? That they didn't pass that? No, that's not our bailiwick? Okay.
How long have you rented this unit, or this building out?
It was rented when my mom acquired it.
Which was when?
November 2017.
Okay.
This is just up from the ocean, or from the
Bay Street.
News Journal Center?
Yeah.
Is that where this is?
Well, I mean, so I think at this point, all we need to do is find you a noncompliance. And next cutoff date, that's what the city is asking for.
We've got about 75, 85, 80% of the work done that from Mr. Garcia and Mr. Betts. So next cycle, we should be no problem getting it back in compliance.
Even with that stairway.
The stairwell wasn't cited.
The stairwell was cited just for the wood slats that were missing. It's in an awkward position. It's up there. It's non-usable. At one time, they had closed it off, but then they were told to remove it.
But it is open access now?
Yeah. Well, from the top.
Just for the fire escape, though.
Correct.
But just for. I mean, that's the phrase that gets me. Just for the fire escape. I mean, it's an old wooden structure. Just for doesn't work for me.
Then there's an open access to guarded roof. It's something that probably needs to be restricted. I mean, it was restricted before. It probably needs to be restricted as part of this case.
Do we consider that...
Life safety?
Uh-huh. I do, but I don't know whether
I think so.
anybody else does.
Yes. I mean, also Rim thinks it's life safety. And he'll tell me why. I haven't been out there, I haven't seen it, but just the description leaves me with the concern of, and just ordering it to be closed, barricaded in such a way that it's not utilized would probably be, it's a big question of even the use of the whole stairs.
We have the right under the rules, state statute, to order it that be used only for egress.
Emergency egress.
That's it.
Yeah. And I don't know if it satisfies that, but that's really a fire question.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name, please.
My name's Officer James S. Thomas with the Daytona Beach Police Department, where I've been employed for about 30 years. I
Welcome.
recently responded to this place. I had to go to a call to the apartment on the 3rd floor. To get in and out of the apartment on the 3rd floor, their door opens to a pitched roof, where if it's raining, the pitched roof is wet. You slide down to the stairwell you see. That stairwell you see shakes and rattles when I walk up it. The call we went to was a domestic battery call where the rescue units had to go up there. If they had to bring a stretcher up there, they couldn't have done it. If you're looking for life safety issues, this place is full of them. The stairs are terrible. That door on the third floor is terrible. The hallway on the second floor looks like it was made when they chopped up a second floor and just made a tiny little hallway. It's not safe for police or fire to respond the way it is now.
Do we need
Well,
a
then
second
aren't there more
inspection?
How about
code
through the main,
code violations?
all right, how about through the main entrance? Is it safe to go in through the main entrance to these places?
There are several main entrances, depending on which part
And
you're trying to get.
except for that stairway and roof problem, are the rest of them life safety issues? Are you saying, that's what you're saying, that there's one where the stairwell is not?
The second and third floor entrances off the stairwell, yes, are horrible. They're not safe at all.
Well, do we need a more extensive inspection listing
No,
these
we
things?
need this fixed instantly.
Well, how do you
Yeah.
do them instantly if they're not listed?
I don't know.
Yeah, but they can re-inspect.
It seems to me we find them in
It's not listed, we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, we remember we do have two things going on.
Okay.
The internal inspection.
Thank you.
Thank you, officer. The internal inspection issues that are being addressed through the DTR
Right.
review. This inspector, his what he has is pretty much external.
Right.
But it is very noticeable that as he makes note of the stairs, that the stairs does have some concern about its use and its access based upon the testimony of this officer as well as what we can easily observe.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons we can address that. But all the other things internal, as you know, we have those aren't things that are cited or even. I don't think that this officer would even be able to testify to. I mean, other than what our police officer experience that he described. Any other?
Well, if we're but we can address life safety issues, whether they're in the violation or not. I mean, it says damaged stair, damaged railing. So, doesn't it?
We put it part of our order.
As part of the order.
That all life safety issues will be resolved immediately.
Right. Okay.
We can't order them to go find ones, but we can tell, we can certainly put in our order, there is it. Be resolved immediately, as soon as possible.
That would make me feel better.
Yeah.
So we can't tell you what to do, but we can certainly put in our order if there is any life safety issues that we'd like to get them resolved as soon as possible.
But then
Right. Well, I mean, we could order. I mean, I would think that you could order them to not utilize a barricade. But
Well,
at the
so
same
you're going to
time,
barricade, well, I mean,
But
what?
if indeed it is the only egress for fire, I don't want you to say prevent them from being able
Right.
to escape. if
So
there's
they
fire.
need to fix
So
the
I don't know,
life
we don't
safety.
have enough information, I guess.
I wouldn't be concerned about the fire escape. We can get a contractor to fix that
Well,
fire
then,
escape.
that-
If that's not used.
I-
I'm more concerned about the main egress. That building is as old as I am, and they didn't build the whole hospital wide back then.
It's
And-
not hospital-wide that,
No,
I
it's
don't
not.
think the officer was.
No, it's probably.
Well, I don't think that's the issue that he was addressing, was the width. I never heard him say width.
too narrow? On the second floor, yes, I don't think you can stretch it.
I think the issue is that there are issues.
Right.
And they need to be
Okay.
identified, not just fix something. Then we're sitting here and arguing
Right.
about, I didn't think that was the issue. I thought,
All right,
so
let me see
we
if
need
this
another
works.
inspection.
Let's see if this works. The chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by the next cutoff date, 4/3/2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 a day, and further orders that all life safety issues be resolved immediately.
And then generalize or do something that says what a life safety issue is. I mean, we're coming back to one of those legal, he said, she said.
We can't tell them, Neil.
Well, we can say such as,
They can bring it back to us, though.
yeah, but such as a staircase or
Well, shouldn't the state be involved since it's 9 units?
Yes.
that's part of the problem. But I don't see how you can say life safety issues and then
Yeah, that's
anybody can decide what that is. We went through
including Well, life safety issues, including stairwells and outside stairs.
We went through this with a property on Orange Avenue, and we gave them a free pass, and then a week later, it was caught on fire, and the windows were slammed shut, and the staircase was falling apart. I remember that case.
I know.
And it was a week after we looked the other way.
Well, we're not looking the other way now. We're saying all life safety issues be resolved immediately, including stairwell issues outside stairway. Anything else?
Any and all issues involving ingress and egress to the building.
Yes.
Any and all issues involving ingress and egress of the building. That's.
I can fix. Mr. Betts gave me a list of things to fix, and I can fix them. And then Mr. Garcia gave me a list of things he wanted to fix, and I could fix them.
Okay, that'll be resolved. What?
Yeah, you're resolved by next meeting. That's
okay. That's good. Then let's.
But now we're introducing in this other life safety issue.
No, we're not.
Okay.
It's the same. Whatever list he gave you must be the same one.
Just whenever you get finished, contact Mr. Garcia so he can go in and see.
Okay. And I can get all the things that Mr. Garcia and Betts gave us.
Yeah.
That'll be wrapped. That'll be done.
Okay.
And the other thing I'd like to say before we vote on this is that the state needs to get involved. I mean, Mr. Harrington is exactly right. We passed on something or gave more time to someone that involved what I think at the time we even considered had bigger issues. And I'm not willing to do that ever again.
So have them.
Well, we're not asking you to pass on anything, just so.
Okay.
The city's not asking.
Okay. All right, the motion's good. Okay. There you go. So we have somebody want to make the motion?
Make the motion.
Mr. Harrington makes the second. Mr. Jones, all in favor, say aye.
What was the motion?
Egress, ingress.
That
one.
you will come into compliance by 4/3
I don't think we voted. All right, can we vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. He wants to
Like
know
sign
what it
opposed.
We need to tell him what we're.
Yeah.
We will after we vote.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, motion passes.
Yes.
All right. Oh, you have to get your BTR. You have to fix the stairs. You have to fix the railing. You have to fix the broken window. You have to fix the fence. And you must resolve all the life safety issues in regards to ingress and egress out of the building.
Okay.
That's it.
That's that last phrase.
Yeah, well.
I mean, all the other things are mostly done.
Okay, good.
And I've got most of Mr. Betts' stuff done, fire extinguisher, all the internal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But to solve the life safety issues, that's like fixed world hunger. I can't get my hand around it. I can't say, okay, this is what I have to do.
Yeah, I get it.
But that's mostly the ingress.
Well,
Madam Chair, I suggest you get with the inspector, and the inspector will guide him on what we
and
need
with the
to be
police, too, I think.
We'll have the inspector and a building inspector
Great.
come to the property.
Okay.
That's what we need.
Terrific.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right,
okay,
I can do
that's
it.
good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. We're on case number 42 now. I'm sorry. I'm really so sorry. Some of these cases were a lot more complicated than I thought they were going to be at the end, especially. Okay. Angela Reed, case number CEB 031953.
125 Vermont Avenue.
Okay.
And are you going to testify as well?
Sure.
Your name?
Scott Biederman.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Jackson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for determination of compliance or non-compliance. The inspector is Steve Alderman. Mr. Alderman reports that he's had some contact with the owner. The last time was, I think, in November, unless he's had something within the last few days. but the property is in non-compliance, it remains in non-compliance. He's asking that it be brought into compliance by next cutoff. Attend to Mr. Alderman.
Okay.
If you have any factual questions.
Mr. Alderman, how many, is this a single-family rental?
Actually, at the moment, this structure is now vacant.
Okay, so it's vacant now, all right.
And to let you know, this is a management assist, and I was opened up on 11/15/18. Since then, there have been numerous issues on here that have been cleared up.
Okay. What has been cleared up? Because those pictures are not showing
The
us.
rental license is no longer valid.
The what is?
The rental license. And also...
We don't need to, because they're not renting it, we don't need to have that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Also, I wanted to address the fact that the potential buyer is now here with the owner, the original owner, because he is in the process of purchasing, and I know that he cannot be noticed until he is actual legal owner, but he wants to be able to present the fact that he knows what's going on to the board right now in the process. And I know that the owner has something to say as well, but
so they don't need a business tax receipt at this point?
Correct. A lot of the outside storage, a lot of the trash debris has been removed because the blend from one house to the other is you're going to be more aware of this as we get to the second case, but in all honesty, it is non-compliance next cutoff, and I'm...
So all this stuff right here, is that cleaned up yet?
That's cleaned up there.
Okay.
Okay? And then when it rolls back through, you'll see motorcycle parts, vehicle parts, combining parts.
All that, is that cleaned up?
That's on the other side, yes. Most of it. The vehicle is gone.
Okay.
There's a vehicle there. Those are more current. The house is now vacant.
Okay.
But honestly, the property owner is going to be the one that's going to be able to tell you a lot more of the specific facts of the process.
All right, thank you.
Are you the new property owner?
Prospective.
Scott, Mr. Buteman is, okay.
So I inherited it from my parents. And yes, we have a neighbor, which is the only two houses left on 125 Vermont. All the other ones were taken down. So the neighbor has, for years now, been putting items in our yard. He takes the fence down. He moves them into the garage. He moves them into the yard. He's taken the city fence down. He's done a lot of things that we are unable to keep up with. This has been going on for a while, but the last 8 months has been more than what we can put up with. So we've gone over there, taken the vehicles, because I know we had actually, about November is when we first got our notification. And so we've been taking vehicles out of the yard. He's put barrels in the yard. He's got...
This is a neighbor that is trespassing on your property?
Yes.
Do you have this property trespassed?
Yes, we did finally do that just about a month
that's
ago.
fine.
So yes, we do, but he comes out when nobody's there. Obviously, nobody's there anyway. We don't live there. That's a difficult one. It has been very difficult to deal with the neighbor.
To catch somebody in the act?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is, I did have somebody, I let somebody stay there, and she would always call me and say, Angela, Dave is encroaching, and we go over there and we try to remove it, and he encroaches again. He's just, I don't know what to do.
Well, that would be a police issue if there's trespassing, and there are cameras available for purchase, I guess. But that's a police issue that he's trespassing. Mr. Buterman, you're in the process of buying this?
Yes,
How far along are we in the process?
I have a contract in her hand, and
you have a purchase and sale? Is that what you're saying?
She has a couple of issues. She wants me to pay some title insurance, and I don't have any issues with her what she wants. So I'm going to go and make the changes on the contract and send
Do
it
you
back.
do you have to go to a bank, or is this going to be?
No, I have cash.
Oh, okay. I'm not. Yeah. Okay. I just asked the question.
Are you going to rent this, or are you going to live there?
What's that?
Are you going to rent it, or are you going to live there?
I'm just, my wife likes to fix up houses, so this is something that then.
You're a flipper.
No, I'm not gonna sell it. I'm gonna just keep it. Probably use it as a weekend home.
Okay.
Or, whatever. My in-laws, when they come and visit us.
So just remember, if you're
whatever.
going to rent it, you're going to have to go
It's
through
not-
and
it's
get
not
the...
a-
No, I'm not renting
Okay,
it. Just
okay,
It
good.
doesn't,
his
okay.
family is gonna go and stay.
That's not part of the issue right now.
Okay.
Part of the issue is you know what you have to clean up and you know what work there is to do.
Yeah, I'll refix it.
But at this point, when would you think the deal would close?
Well, the contract, I haven't signed it, but the lawyer had put on May the 9th. Now, we can make it a little bit before, a little after, but could we have some, at least 2 months?
Well, that's why I'm asking you that. So,
The only issues there are, I guess, is fixing the windows. There's some windows, besides all the junk that the neighbor put on there, there's only the window issues. And
seems to
painting.
be landscaping, motorcycle parts.
That's all gone. Those,
The motorcycle parts are taken care of?
Correct.
Okay.
I'll hire.
How about the paint?
Yeah, I'll hire a painter right now.
Okay,
to
paint,
it.
landscape, glass. What's
That.
glass?
the
Yeah,
doors.
She's gonna fix the glass
Yes.
right now.
We contacted somebody, but it's going to take a little while. Sometimes it takes them a while, but we have glass.
The vehicle parts are gone?
Correct.
And the recycle storage?
It's been moved.
Okay,
So
moved.
it's not my business, but do you have a plan to deal with the next door neighbor, or is that our
No.
next case?
Yeah.
Your guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
He was here earlier. I don't know where Dave went.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not. I don't think he has like nothing against.
All right, we don't need to say, he's not even part of this case, so.
He's the next one, board number 40.
All right, so what is the feeling about giving we'd have to renotice then
Correct.
if we added Mr. Biederman, correct?
Can we just clean there's only the windows and the painting.
Well, if you get in touch with Mr. Alderman, if we just give you till next month,
Yeah.
and you get with when it's done, you get with Mr. Alderman and tell him, then you might not even have to come back here, but, go ahead, Mr. Jackson.
Can we add Mr. Biederman
I'll
to
just
the
fix the windows
case
and I'll
upon
paint it
closing?
right now, even before I close.
Well, I don't know if we-
No. No.
Well, I think that's the point, though. I don't know if we would need to if they comply.
Yeah, she complies,
So,
yeah.
I don't know if he wants to be
I'll hire a
added
painter.
or.
I'm sorry to
Yeah, but
interrupt.
if she's in compliance, then you don't even need you to
I mean, we need you to do what needs to be done, but we need to adjust a case, because the case will be over. We'll just go ahead and put
Just
it in
the
our
windows?
compliance.
Yeah.
I don't
The windows
think we
and the
should
painting,
add,
And then the junk removed, is that correct?
Yeah.
I don't think we should add you to the thing because.
No, I'll just.
You're
leave
not-
the-
But you're
You don't have
thinking about a
ownership.
closing in May. Now, the cutoff date in 2 months is 5/1. Next month, the cutoff date is 4/3. May is fine?
5-1.
Is May fine with everybody? Then your name won't be on the deed and it will be, and if it's done before then, by all means, call Mr. Alderman and tell him, then we won't see you back here. Okay? And the case will be closed.
Yes, it will take a little time.
Okay. All right, Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by May 1st, 2019, and be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Mrs. Roby, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. McLean, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Okay, so just make sure you stay in touch with Mr. Alderman. So when the work's done,
For the record, that just the painting needs to be done and the windows.
you talk,
Exterior structural maintenance and windows.
And windows.
It's fairly extensive, but it's not,
The
doesn't need a
fence
permit.
doesn't need, you don't have to have a fence up, do you?
Nope.
Until after I close?
No.
We don't have to have a fence, it's up to you.
Just leave the fence off until after
The
I
front
close.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll pay for the painting and then,
And you,
Okay.
can fix
you
the
tear the
Good-
fence
good luck.
down.
Thank you. Good
Excuse me.
luck.
Okay, case number 46, CEB 031957. James Carson Warders. Mr. Warders, come on up. Oh, what's your name?
Oh,
It's the
good.
case after theirs.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
do
I
that
think
one
that
now.
will be the next one, I'm sorry. We're trying to just get them done.
state your name.
Oh, there he is.
James
Okay.
Carson Warders.
What case
Do you
number?
solemnly
His-
swear or affirm
we're
that
in,
the testimony that you're about to provide is the
43.
truth, the truth, and
No,
nothing
wait.
but the truth?
No, we're not.
Certainly.
Thank you.
What case number, please?
This is on page 13, case number 46, CEB 0319-57.
Good afternoon, this Steve Alderman.
There you go.
There you go.
Steve Alderman is the inspector on this case. This is before you for compliance or non-compliance. He reports the non-compliance, and he's asking next call for it to be brought into compliance.
Okay?
Turn to Mr. Alderman if you have any factual questions.
Oh, my.
Oh, wow. This case was opened up as a Track EZ complaint on 11/6/18. Since that time, Mr. Waters has done a very nice job of maintaining the landscaping, but the other issues have not been addressed yet. It's
Okay.
in non-compliance next cutoff, and I would like to have him address his process.
All right, could you tell us what you've noticed that's been taken care of?
Just the landscaping.
Just the landscaping. Not the big list, okay? So that means he cut the grass?
Yes, and cleaned up quite a bit of the outside storage that was strewn around the yard, yes.
Is what we're seeing there cleaned up? That porch with all the junk on it?
No.
No. I've got a shaking head here, and you say no. Okay.
Well, I did it yesterday.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
you did it.
I did a lot yesterday, and I
Okay, all right.
finished it today.
All right, so why don't you tell us what you're going to be able to do by next month?
I'll have the front porch completely cleared off.
That'd be good. Here's what it is. Clear the door. Who lives there?
I do.
Okay,
Only.
just you. Clear door access.
I will have that done.
Storage on porch.
Completely, I will have it done.
Paint the structure.
We'll be in the process of doing
Okay.
that.
Trash and debris. Pick up.
I will be working on that, certainly.
Garage maintenance.
There is no garage.
Mr. Alderman, what does that mean?
I believe in front of that truck there, I think that's a garage.
Well, it's a storage shed. The garage was
All right, so it's, okay.
demolished years ago.
So the storage shed needs cleaning up.
All right, so instead of garage, we'll say a storage
Yeah, I'll
shed.
have that done by
Okay.
next month also.
Roof repair.
I don't know what's wrong with the roof.
There-
Those tiles on the side of the roof?
Yes, there were tiles falling off the edge. Not very many, but they're visible.
Okay.
Yeah, I can take care of that.
Deck maintenance.
What's the deck? It's the front porch, that thing?
I don't know.
The deck was in that, right there.
I
You
see.
see that lower
See
section?
that?
where the concrete's all damaged?
Did you see that?
Yes, I
Okay.
saw it.
And you can take care of that too? Outside storage, anything that's out being stored outside?
I'll take care of that.
Porch in front of garage. Well,
I'll take care of that.
okay. Yeah, it was outside storage of your yard porch in front of garage or shed, whatever. we'll
See,
call
I
it.
got rid of that car already.
Okay.
there.
All right, so you're working on
I've been
it.
doing a lot.
Okay,
and,
you're working on it.
I definitely want to
Okay. Okay.
take care of everything you
Good.
want me to do.
All right, then, if there's no, are there any further questions? The chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in noncompliance and the respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date and be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. House, second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, time to get moving on that one.
All right.
Pass. One, two, three. All right, now, case 48. We're getting there. Now, this is CEB, this is on page 14, CEB 31968, Nancy Lee Kelly, Barbara Ann Plentz, and Tony Signoretti. Who are you, sir?
Manulian, Dave Manulian, 129 Vermont.
Where?
He's the one that was supposed to, this one here.
Case 43.
It isn't on our
That's
list.
not even on our list. Did you sign up?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It's number 43.
Number 43.
Yeah, I know,
we
but it
didn't put
wasn't
on
on
this
my
list.
list of people who was here, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I called the case. What case did I call?
Nancy Lee, 48.
Nancy Kelly.
Okay, Nancy Kelly. Let's do that, and then we'll do you right next, Mr. Manoulian. Sorry. Okay. Case 48 on page 14. Nancy Lee Kelly, is that you?
No, I'm Barbara Plint.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay.
We've had that 50 times.
Jackson.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for determination of compliance or non-compliance. The Inspector Steve Alderman. Mr. Alderman reports that the respondent has applied for permits. He believes it can be taken care of by next cutoff. So non-compliance next cutoff.
Permits for what?
Permits for what?
To enlarge the driveway for parking.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to build a new parking area.
Okay. You've got permits to do that?
I've applied for the permit.
Applied for permits?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything to add?
Non-compliance next cutoff. Nothing.
Okay. All right. The chair will entertain a motion to find the respondent in non-compliance or the respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date or be returned to the board for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 a day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Roby, second. Mr. Jones, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, Mr. Manoulian, you're up. You are case number 43 on page 13. CEB 031954.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
Compliance or non-compliance, the inspector is Steve Alderman. Mr. Alderman reports that the property remains in non-compliance, and he's asking that it be brought into compliance by next cutoff. To Mr. Alderman.
I'm looking at the pictures.
When did you take these pictures? Just
Over a period of time, but this one initially started 11:15, the same as the other one.
I see. So this is the next door neighbor?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Jackson, do you want to do this, or Mr. Alderman's just gone? It doesn't matter.
Oh, I thought we did everything.
No, I don't think so. I'm sorry, I might have been looking at the pictures and I lost my train of thought.
Okay, yeah.
Did I?
Non-compliance next cutoff.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Alderman is
All right, Mr. Alderman.
is this a rental?
No, I think Mr. Manoulian lives
Is it
there.
a business?
It is a owner-occupied.
What do we need a business license for?
Well, that was for fabrication. There was a lot of assumptions based on these two structures together because of the mass amount of different issues. I was trying to figure out who owned what, where. At this point, like the other one, there's a few of them on this case that are no longer pertinent, and that's one of them.
Okay.
Okay, so business tax receipt is off. Okay, good.
Correct.
All right. And what else is off that list?
Well, this was a management referral, and I opened it up on 11/15/18, just like the other one. The things that are left are the recycle issue. Obviously, there's excess storage surrounding the property and the house. There are vehicle parts, but they seem to be in the garage. The landscape needs to be taken care of. The structure needs to be painted. The off-street parking at the moment is taken care of because that's where the old Studebaker was. The outside storage is pretty well everywhere. The structural maintenance is necessary, and I've talked to him about the painting as well. The accessory structure damage is the garage in the back. I think I have kind of angled photos at that, and the fence on the side as well.
All right, so we're left with Mr. Manoulian. What would you like to say?
Well, it's the first time it's ever gotten this far. You know, I've been under pressure from the city people, and they come and say, do this and do that, and I do this, I do that, and then, you know, it blows away.
So you're expecting this will blow away too, huh?
Well, I expect I do whatever he tells me to do, and
Good.
you know, that's
Absolutely
what will
right.
happen.
Then let's do whatever he tells you to do.
Well, I've just got to grips with the painting thing, you know, and he showed me the stuff and
Okay.
says that's discolored there and this needs to be done.
Okay.
And then the outside storage shed, I have one there. I don't know if you can see it. That's the back
Is this a
fence.
new picture?
Yes.
Today?
No, that's not new, is it?
That's not true.
No, the other one.
'Cause there's more stuff there. A lot, yeah, that's all. All that stuff on the left is gone.
Uh-huh.
That looks about the same. That bike's not there. That car's not there now.
Good.
So how long do you think it'll be till you get what Mr. Alderman wants?
Well, like I said, I didn't think it would get that far, and there's still a lot of stuff to do. I'm pending a shoulder operation. I really need to get this stuff done because I'm not going to be able to work like I do now.
Yeah, okay. So you better get it done before then. All right.
The only thing I'm having a problem with is that I know all that stuff in the yard and all that, but the structure outside my sheds, I don't know specifically if he would could come by. He's in the neighborhood.
Well, you could call him and ask him to come by and take a look and see where you are and have some, he'll tell you what you have left to do.
That's what I thought was going to be happening because he drove by, he'd stop by and do stuff, and I would chase him down and say, hey, what's going on? And I say, how's it looking? He says, this is that, you're working on it. But
good. Well, we need you to, step it up a little bit.
Well, yeah, we're not quite on the same page. I can see now from all these other pictures and things that
Okay.
The stuff you've been collecting, are they valuable things for going to a museum, or what's the purpose of storing all this junk all over?
Okay. I'm sorry?
No, ask.
I thought I heard somebody talking over
Yeah,
there.
that's all right.
Okay. I'm just asking you, what is the motivation for storing and collecting all this stuff?
I just recently retired, and these are some projects that I've been putting off and putting together,
Okay.
I have a few inventions and tinker with a lot of stuff. He told me I need a license to do some of the things
You
I
may need to rent somebody's garage or something where you can do your tinkering.
Yeah, I have one, but it's, I don't usually drive the cars. I only ride motorcycles, and it's out in Flagler. And I've got a couple of my projects now, those big projects, I moved out there.
So are you the neighbor that is...
Angela's neighbor,
Yeah, moving stuff over?
Well, there was another fellow involved also. But
Okay, well,
he's gone.
Okay. All right, Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date, which is 4/3/2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
Motion.
Is that the same day as
Miss
Angela's?
McLean, I don't know. Miss McLean, I'd have to go back and look. Made the motion. Second, Mr. Jones. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed.
She's got 2 months. She's May 1st for compliance. Angela's May 1st for compliance.
And what was mine?
April
3rd. You just need to stay in touch with Mr. Alderman and show him all the things you're working on, okay?
Okay.
All right, good. Thank you.
Have a great day.
We have one more person here.
Yes, it's case number 39.
Case number 39, okay? Let me get to it. That's on page
12.
12.
Case number 39, Mr. Smith. Here he comes. CEB 031945.
I saw these pictures.
State your name and address, please.
Charles Smith, 800 Madison Ave.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
This isn't the right one.
That's not the right one?
No, that's that one we had.
Oh, we already had that one.
Yeah.
That's Kingston. Yeah. We need 800 Madison. Thank you for noticing.
What number
Number
Case
39.
number 39 on page 12, CEB 031945. Okay, well, we might as well go ahead until we get the pictures. Go ahead.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, this is before you for determination of compliance or non-compliance. The inspector is Mike Fitzgerald. Ms. Fitzgerald reports that, first of all, he's had no contact with the respondent. The property remains in non-compliance. He's asking that it be brought into compliance by next cutoff.
Okay.
Then to Mr. Fitzgerald.
Okay, maintenance code. Mr. Fitzgerald. Maintenance code is the broken and damaged fence. Is that fixed?
No.
Multiple junk vehicles in the backyard inoperable?
Still there?
Still there. Faded and peeling paint?
Still there.
Okay. What else would you like? Is there anything else you want to say? No, that's it.
Nothing.
Okay, Mr. Smith?
There's no more cars.
Okay, good.
Not on my property. I got pictures to show.
Okay, good.
As far as the paint and stuff, the fence, that's being worked on. And, you know,
All right.
being worked on.
You're the owner, right? You live there.
Right.
And are you painting it?
Yes.
Okay. You're in the process of painting
And I
it.
have the pictures
And
of
what
the
about the
damaged
fence?
The fence is being worked right now as we speak.
Okay, good. Well, so it seems like you're working on it, right?
Yeah, it would have been done today, but I'm working. We work.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
done before.
Well, you keep in touch with Mr. Fitzgerald, and when you're done this work,
Okay.
you call him and tell him you're finished, and then maybe we won't see you again.
Perfect.
Okay? That would be perfect. The chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent to come into compliance by the next cutoff date, 4/3/2019, or be returned to the board for a consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 a day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Well, I didn't. Okay, Ms. McLean and Mr. Jones is the second. All in favor say aye. Oh, that's Ms. Roby.
Aye.
All right, okay. I'm losing my marbles. All right, here we go. Let's go. Where are we going? Back to page
Page 8.
4. Why are we going back to 4?
We haven't done those cases we took.
The ones that were here.
Get excited. They're not.
There's like 10 more. I think.
25 more.
I got page 8.
Oh, wait a minute. No, well, we heard all those cases on page 4, right?
There's 3 on page 8.
All right, okay, page 8.
8?
8.
8.
9,
Haywood, Burke, and Schultz.
10. Got 11.
Harold Hayward, case 24.
What about case 18? Did we do that? Page 6?
18.
Yes, we did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got, yeah.
Okay. Did,
Case 24, CEB 031949, Howard Hayward. Okay.
The inspector in this case, Madam Chair, is Danny Garcia. Mr. Garcia reports that the property remains in non-compliance. The respondent still has no running water. Mr. Garcia has been in contact with the respondent. He's asking that he be in compliance by next cutoff.
Okay. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent to come into compliance by the next cutoff date, April 3rd, 2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Wait a minute.
Motion, Mr. Jones, second, Ms. Roby. All in favor say aye. Aye. Case number 25, Heather Burke, CEB 031960.
Inspector Danny Garcia. Mr. Garcia reports that the permit was issued on 3/1. It's waiting to be final. So non-compliance next cutoff, waiting for permit final.
Waiting for permit. Waiting for them to file?
To final.
Oh, to
Finalize
finalize.
it.
Oh, good.
Finalize the
Okay,
permit.
yay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. The chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date, 4/3/2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Mrs. Roby, second, Mr. Jones, all in favor say aye. Aye. Good. Like sign opposed. Case number 26. CEB 0319-61, John Schultz and Tina Willis. These people may have wished they showed up. Okay.
The inspector, Mr. Garcia, he reports that the property remains in non-compliance, and he has been in contact with respondent. He asks that it be in compliance by next cutoff.
Okay. All right. Chair will entertain a motion to have respondent in non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date 4/3/2019 and be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 a day.
So moved.
Motion. Is there a second? Ms. McLean? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay. So much for page 8. Let's go to page 9, case 28. Matusik. Ooh. That's not the same Matusik. All right. CEB 0319-48.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the inspector is Danny Garcia. This was a citizen complaint. He's spoken with the owner's sister who is evicting the tenants. Non-compliance, next cutoff coming to compliance.
Is this a single family, or is, I see one address there. Is this a single family, or is this a rental?
Inspector Garcia with the city and the credentials on file. Yeah, it's just a single family unit. It's being rented, and right now they're trying to evict the tenants.
Okay.
So if they evict them, they won't need, until they get a new renter, they won't need either one of those licenses.
It's undecided whether they're going to continue to rent.
Yeah, they may continue to rent, just not to that tenant. Okay, so are they, well, that doesn't matter. We'll find out next time, I guess. Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance and a respondent to come into compliance by the next cutoff date, April 3rd, 2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Mrs. House. Second, Ms. McLean. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. All right, so much for page 9. Okay, case 34, CEB, it's on page 10. CEB 03, case number 34, CEB 031939, Melissa Parlett.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the inspector is Mark Jones. Mr. Jones reports that this property remains in non-compliance. Failed rental inspection on September 7th. He has been in contact with the owner. He's asking next cutoff for the property to be brought into compliance.
All right, so this failed a rental inspection, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Okay, in September. Have they applied for a new one?
No, what they were missing was they had to order some windows. They finally got around to ordering them, and they should be installed this month. So they said they'd be able to make the next cutoff.
Okay. All right, the chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by the next cutoff date of April 3rd, 2019 for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Mrs. Roby, second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Case number 37 on page 11. CEB 0319-59, Andres Echeverria.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the inspector is Mike Fitzgerald. Mr. Fitzgerald reports that this property remains in non-compliance. He's had no contact with the respondent. He's asking that it be brought into compliance by next cutoff.
Chair will entertain any questions? Chair will entertain a motion.
Front yard.
It's in the front yard. We got a front yard. Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date, April 3rd, 2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Such a motion?
So moved.
Motion Motion, Mr. Roby, second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Yeah, you telling me. Oh my goodness, we're on page 12, case number 40. CB 0319-43, Justin Kirby.
The inspector in this case is Mike Fitzgerald. He reports that he's had no contact with the respondent. This property remains in non-compliance. Next cutoff to come into compliance.
Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent committed compliance by the next cutoff date, April 3rd, 2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Such a motion?
So moved.
All in favor,
Since he doesn't listen anyway.
Motion, Mrs. Roby, second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, case 41, CB 031937, Constantine Christopherakis, Auburn Drive.
Inspector is Steve Alderman. Mr. Alderman reports that the property remains in non-compliance. He has had contact with the owner. He believes he can be in compliance by next cutoff.
Okay, Chair will entertain motion to find respondent in non-compliance and order respondent committed to compliance by the next cutoff date, April 3rd, 2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. McLean. I'm going to say second, Mrs. House, or either way. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Okay, that's so much for page 12.
13.
Oh, no. All right, so case number 45, CEB 0319-51, Gordon Rothermel.
This is before you for compliance and non-compliance. Inspector Steve Alderman. Mr. Alderman reports that the property remains in non-compliance. He does have a letter that they sent him saying that it's not a rental, but I don't know. Have you had any other contact? Yes. Okay. So,
got number one on
at this point, we have not satisfied ourselves.
Okay, that's fine. So maybe by next meeting it will be over. Okay, all right. Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent to commit to compliance by the next cutoff date, April 3rd, 2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Ms. Roby, second, Ms. House. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries.
I want to note that did have a number one on the downstairs apartment.
Yeah. Case number 49, CEB. We're on page 14, CEB 0319-69. Chester Perkowski. I got it. Perkowski.
The inspector is Steve Alderman. Mr. Alderman reports that this property remains in non-compliance, asking for next cutoff of the property to be brought into compliance.
Okay. That looks like a lot. All right.
Is that a legal office there?
Used to be.
It's very over. I think they've moved out because I walk by there a lot.
Silver Beach.
It's at the end of Orange Avenue Bridge.
Okay.
On the right hand side.
Yeah.
So is this
It's an
was somebody,
office.
no, this is an office. Okay, vacant office, okay. And that's the owner, all right? And no contact, did you say?
Yes, ma'am. I have had contact with Mr. Perkowski.
Uh-huh.
And the technical issue that may come up is that he is transferring a debt load from this property to a property that does not have a debt load so that he can potentially demo the structure.
Okay, that's his technicality. All right. Chair will entertain a motion to find respondent in non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date, April 3rd, 2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Roby, second, Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. One more case on page 15, case 50.
The inspector, Steve Alderman. Mr. Alderman reports that he's had contact with the owner. The property remains in non-compliance. He's asking for next cutoff for the property to be brought into compliance.
Do we have pictures of that? Just
No picture?
no pictures?
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
there they are. Okay. I just like to orient myself to some of these before they come screaming back. So you have had contact, Mr. Alderman?
Yes, actually, it was on another complaint that she had someone
Oh,
else.
good.
But since then, I have received, the only other communication I received was actually a computerized verbal that she was not very handy, and that's all I heard.
Okay. Well, there you go. Chair will entertain a motion to find respondents non-compliance or respondent come into compliance by the next cutoff date, April 3rd, 2019, or be returned to the board for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Ms. Roby, second, Ms. House. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. There's one more thing on the agenda, if we can do it very quickly, otherwise I'm going to gavel it.
Depends, Mr. Sykes, I think, okay, do that quickly. We have a miscellaneous business discussion regarding fence code.
Yeah, real quick, the land development code, question was asked last month about the
Fencing.
50% or more.
Right.
Right.
It's in section 6.8.4, which states permit is required. The standards in this section apply to the repair or replacement of 50% or more of any permanent wall or fencing existing on March 1, 2015.
Okay.
From that point forward.
So it's more than 50% damaged.
It needs to be permanent.
It needs to be permitted, right.
Permit.
Okay. Okay, great. Terrific. Good answer.
And one more thing, next month is my last month here, and it's been fun. You guys are a hoot.
Sorry.
We will.
We're sorry about that. I wish you were staying.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then you're going to be at the next
I will
month's
be
meeting,
at the
right?
next
Okay,
meeting.
that will be your last meeting. Okay. Motion. Meeting adjourned. Woo-hoo.